CG. Tonight, it is the Sydney Swans hosting the Adelaide Crows. The Swans still well and truly in the hunt for that vital top four spot. The Adelaide Crows, well, they can still make the finals, but one suspects, Stephen Silvani, that they've already started the job interviews, obviously for the coach next year, and also experimentation with the playing list. Welcome.
Well, it's only logical that the Crows would be out in the marketplace searching for potential coaches, but having said that, I think Neil Craig got a head start on those potential coaches with a great win over Melbourne last week.
And what about the playing group? I mean, a lot of experimentation last week against Melbourne paid handsome dividends. I guess they're playing with some freedom now.
Well, they are. There's plenty of youngsters there, and really, the Crows are in a similar position to what the Swans were 2 years ago. Paul Roos came to the helm. He blooded some youngsters, and last year they played in finals. I'm sure the Crows will be looking for a similar result.
Well, as we see the Crows preparing to come out here at the SCG, you look at their list, I mean, they did top up the last couple of years, and fair enough too, because Gary Ayres did have a winning combination, wasn't far away, but no Nigel Smart, no Wayne Carey, who have both retired in recent weeks, no Ben Hart, who's out injured at the moment. I mean, it is obviously a much younger look about the team.
Well, yes, you've got youngsters like Watt, Riley, Skipworth and Rutten out there tonight, and but they still have the spread of older players and experienced players with McLeod, Rasciuto and Edwards, which will lead this side tonight.
We see Mark Rasciuto there. Geez, he's playing every bit as he did last year when he won the Brownlow, or shared the Brownlow.
Oh, he's a great player, and I think the thing about Mark Rasciuto is that he stands up every week. He's hard at it, and really he leads this team so well every week.
What about Barry Hall? Who do you think is going to be the man for Barry tonight?
Well, I think they might have to go for Bassett early. There is a bit of word around that the youngster Rutten will pick him up, so there's a chance Neil Craig might go with some of these youngsters on the recognised senior group of Sydney, but we'll see in that first quarter of football.
So the Adelaide Crows make their way out onto the SCG. It's been fairly wet here today. In fact, the locals tell me it's about the first time in 2 months that they've had some decent rain today. Conditions at the moment are cleared, so the ground shouldn't be too much affected by the conditions tonight. But the Adelaide Crows burst through the banner, and they've won their last two, so they're every chance tonight.
Well, they are. They're only 2 games out of the 8, the Crows, so a win tonight keeps them in touch, and their form last week against Melbourne was outstanding, so if they continue that form early tonight, particularly, I think they need a start in Sydney, so the first quarter is so crucial for them.
Brett Biglands, he was one of the players last week who really stood out, and young Riley played probably his best performance ever for the Adelaide Crows.
Yeah, I think he had something like 30 touches last week. Biglands is the man to get him started in the middle there. He needs to be assertive, throw his body around and really lead them out of that midfield.
And Ken McGregor, he's also taken the next step.
Yes, and he's one of the players that Neil Craig would be looking for a fair bit of improvement over the course of this year for what remains. And it's players like McGregor that do need to stand up and give the likes of Rasciuto and McLeod a helping hand.
Let's go to Christy Malthouse, and she is with the coach of the Adelaide Crows, Neil Craig.
Well, Neil, this is your second game. You're an old hack at this coaching business now. Are you less nervous and more confident tonight with coaching?
No, Christy, I mean, last week was fantastic for us. It was a good experience, but as we know in this competition, I mean, you let that go and just move on, and win, lose or draw, that's what we continue to do.
Now, you used an unusual training technique during the week with the elastic bands. Does that mean we'll see more one-on-one, body-on-body sort of football tonight?
No. That's all about trying to increase guys' agility. So, yeah, it's nothing to do with one-on-one.
All right, Barry Hall, he's a Swans match winner. I mean, who's going to get the job on him?
Benny Rutten will start on him. We've got Nathan Bassett there, who we've played on him in the past. We know Nathan can play on him, but we need to find out about some new people in our footy club. And Ben did a really good job last week on David Neitz, who's a good player. Different opponent tonight, but it'll be a good experience for us as a footy club, and it'll be a good experience for Ben Rutten to stand Hall.
Well, good luck.
Thanks, Christy.
There you go, Sos Jamal on Rutten was right. He's got the first crack at Big Bad Bustling.
Oh, great experience for the youngster, and up against Barry Hall, who's had an outstanding year.
Well, the Sydney Swans, they're not far away from coming out onto the ground. Their form's hardly been scintillating. I mean, they got out of jail last week against Carlton, a match they really should have won, I guess, with Carlton didn't have Whitnell or Favola. But full credit to Sydney, they do keep on winning, and when they've won 5 of their last 6, albeit by pretty small margins.
Yeah, it's not a bad result, 5 out of the last 6. Their last 2 weeks, their form hasn't been fantastic, but I think their win against Carlton last week, particularly the last quarter where they were 3 goals down, showed real character, and they got up and got the points, and I think that's a sign of a very good team.
As the Swans burst through the banner, let's now welcome Tim Lane as he has a look at the 2 teams. Tim.
Thanks, Quarters. Good evening. Both teams with an informed key forward, Craig Bolton, would be well matched against Scott Welsh, who doesn't pose the big height disadvantage that Bolton sometimes experiences. Crows will be pretty short on the forward line. Biglands might go forward. Sydney with Goods, and also Bevan and Kennelly, who have kicked important goals in their last 2 wins. Great match up in midfield. Kirk, the competition's top tackler. Mark Prosciutto, a Brownlow medalist, averaged 24 disposals a game last year. He's bettering that this year. There's nothing wrong with his form. Barry Hall, of course, the man for Sydney at centre-half forward. Well, it looks as though it won't be McGregor. It's going to be a 5th gamer in Ben Rutten, but Ken McGregor has really become a regular at centre-half back for the Crows. And up in front of the sticks, O'Loughlin could pose some problems. Bassett or Tawney would be a match for the slippery Sydney full forward. Good contest in the ruck. Ball and Doyle against Clark and Biglands, who had a big week last week. McLeod and Williams perhaps, although Stenglein might pick up Williams and perhaps Crouch might be thrown onto McLeod. Schneider and Schauble are welcome returns for Sydney. Stevens, a former Swan, on the interchange bench for Adelaide. The Neil Craig era is underway, and already things look quite different. Adelaide played a much shorter game against Melbourne, who they crunched by 72 points. More short kicks, more hand passes, many more disposals. The Swans normally with the lowest kick to handball ratio in the comp. Adelaide were even lower than that last week. Will they do that again in slippery conditions tonight? We'll know shortly. Quarters.
Thanks, Tim. A break as we have a look at the background of the Crows' new coach, Neil Craig, a man with a great record in SA footy.
Shaw punches away, great off hands, winds it up and bottles it.
Well taken by Patergy. He's trying to lift them single-handedly. By Craig.
I mean, I was very comfortable at North, and really enjoyed my time there. The first 2 years probably knew nothing at all. Thought I knew it all, but knew nothing. And so it's been a good experience. And I can say to any other assistant coach at AFL level, if you haven't actually been in charge, go and have a go, because it's a big difference between being an assistant coach versus being in charge of a footy club.
The Neil Craig era begins in clear style. But how long will his reign be?
Double the drama.
Double the impact.
Double the evictees.
Sunday's just been supersized.
In one mass eviction, 2 housemates will lose their chance at $1 million.
Question is,
Who will you choose? A massive double eviction night from 7 o'clock Sunday.
then Monday with a 1 in 5 chance at 1 mega prize.
Nomination night just won't be the same. 2 huge nights of Big Brother start Sunday.
Pick up a slab of Cascade Premium Light, only $24.99 a carton. Or warm up with Johnny Walker Red, $26.99, and Johnny Black, only $33.99 each. Buy both for only $59. Cooper's Dark Ale, $8.99 a 6-pack or $31.99 a carton, and Berry 5-litre casks, just $9.99 each.
The Toyota Prado VX has hill start assist control, so you can climb at 42 degrees from a standing hill start. Downhill assist control, ABS, and emergency brake assist. And finally, another essential four-wheel drive feature, downhill assist control in reverse. Driver assist technology, only from
What a feeling, I go down.
Getting ready for today's big game.
Well, 60th anniversary tribute to those who fought in the battle for Australia between 1942 and 1944.
Team of red berets from the Australian Army. It takes a lot of skill and discipline to jump from an aircraft, move into a formation close to other paratroopers, while falling at around 200 kilometres per hour, and land together on the ground with pinpoint accuracy.
The Army band, Newcastle, were in sparkling form, and the crowd really did warm to this. It's part of an effort between the AFL and the Sydney Swans, who in recent years have worked with the Department of Veterans Affairs on a number of commemorative events, starting with the Kokoda Track Memorial Game in 2002. The Federation Guard Precision Drill Team were also here at the SCG, this commemorating 60 years since the battle for Australia was won. Pearl Harbor, of course, having been attacked in 1941, Singapore and Malaya falling shortly after that.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the veterans to join us here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. It's our opportunity to acknowledge and thank the veterans who fought for us in the Battle of Australia over 60 years ago.
And what a sight this was. They're not spring chickens anymore. Conditions not absolutely ideal this evening at the SCG, but they've known tougher. And the reception from the crowd, which was growing for this match between Sydney and Adelaide and has reached tremendous proportions now, was really heartwarming and soul-stirring. And the veterans absolutely loved it.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And finally, the tour de force, the arrival of a Navy Seahawk helicopter and a fast roping display from the naval officers therein. And what's that backpack, I wonder? It contains the footies for Hayden Kennedy, Matthew Head and Matthew Nichols, the officials for tonight's big game.
Beautifully done, Tim, and it was beautifully done also by the Sydney Swans up here. And speaking of Sydney Swans, there's a man who well, helped set the modern-day team up, didn't he, Mike Willesee? A star in his own right.
Fought some battles himself over a few years with the Swans.
He did. Mike Willesee here watching tonight. And be time now to take a look at the ladder with a few results decided so far in this round 15. The Saints on top, but for how long? Brisbane second, Port Adelaide, Melbourne. The top four teams all play tomorrow. Geelong, Essendon, Fremantle and Sydney make up the top 8. The Kangaroos and the West Coast Eagles still well and truly in the hunt, I guess, as are the Blues and probably the Adelaide Crows if they can win tonight.
Well, if they win tonight, they're within 2 games of Sydney. Note the percentage. They have a better percentage than the Swans. They have 5 home games and a neutral match against St Kilda at York Park. They could win plenty of matches on the way home and give themselves a chance.
As we welcome Christy Malthouse and Neil Cordy.
Thanks, Stephen. Well, I wouldn't say it's cold down here just yet, but the breeze is quite cool and it is just starting to pick up. It has been raining here, which means the ground is quite slippery, and there was also a curtain-raising match before the game, so that hasn't really helped the surface. So you think for both teams, they'll be wary of the fact that it will be slippery out there tonight, which is not good news for the Swans. Neil.
No, certainly isn't, Christy. The last 3 outings in the wet, Richmond and West Coast this year, they lost. And round 21 against the Magpies was also in slippery conditions, and they came out on the wrong side. Interesting feature of the SCG tonight is the 50-metre arc is a true 50 metres, and as opposed to the 45 that has been throughout the year. The intersecting point, though, which goes along the square, it doesn't overlap, but at the true centre half forward, I believe it is about 2.5 metres short.
The statisticians will be delighted. We've got the inside 50 stat back at the SCG.
And we see young Rutner there on Barry Hall. Rutner in his 5th game. Barry Hall playing his 144.
And we're away at the SCG as the first possession goes Adelaide's way through Edwards to centre half forward. Kennelly underneath it. No mark. Touch, says the umpire. He's dispossessed. Attacking it as Crouch. And we'll have a bounce. No, play on, says the umpire once again. Now we'll have a bounce.
Kennelly a bit stiff there. He thought he'd marked it.
Yeah, it must have been touched.
And he's telling the umpire he thought he'd marked it. He knows more about Aussie rules than the umpires do.
Bigland was a box on off the ball. Kennelly went down, remonstrating with Skipworth. As we have another bounce here. So some heavy tagging going on early. Some very heavy tagging off the ball.
Too high, Sydney takes the ball.
Now the umpire's decided to break this up, and he's plucked out the free kick, and ball's got it to Kennelly, and the Swans are away. Here they come down the middle, penetrating kick. O'Loughlin's caught behind. Bassett decides to fist away rather than mark. Quick kick under pressure by Stengline. Back to Kennelly, who's been prominent early, chips it to the 50 and finds O'Loughlin.
Swans on the build. Won't be an easy night for marking forwards. Not raining at the moment, but it is slippery. Matthews sitting it up for Hall, who will arrive late. but makes his presence felt. And just seemed to have them a little haul conscious there. No option, but a ball up this time around in front of the Swans goal.
And we just see Leo Barry on Welsh. Welsh kicked 8 goals last week. Leo Barry, an outstanding player.
Bottom of the pack is Ablett. So it's about 35 metres out from the Sydney Swans goal. The umpire decides to throw it up. Hall got the tap. Stenglein got the spoils. Ball ends up in the arms of Edwards for the Crows. Left foot kick to the wing. Is that a free kick to Bott? No, said the umpire. Legitimate. Clever kick by Kennelly to Goods. Goods now to the 50. Hall gets in front. Can't take the mark. Conditions are slippery. Ball spills here to Riley. BOG last week. Stenglein under the hammer. Tries to squeeze the kick out. Did well in the end. To Matner. He's dispossessed. Now Matthews. Quickly over to Bolton. Ablett goes sideways to Nix from a standing start. Pops it up for Hall. He's got the set. Is that a free kick? No, said the Williams off the ground. He'll have a chance here. He slips at the crucial moment. His kick smothered. Well done by McLeod. Crows out of danger. And now Tawney will clear for Adelaide.
Great chance for Sydney. Slips away, almost literally.
Terrific play by McLeod. That smother was crucial. Barry Hall could consider himself a little unlucky there.
That would be a free, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so I think you'd have to give that a free kick.
That comes from a fullback of the century.
Yes.
The fullback of the century.
Well, if they don't pay those, what do they pay? Bigland's rucking. Here's Kirk. But the slippery bull beat him. Doughty getting it off to Biglands and Gallagher. Bevan, good front position. And he wins the reward. That goes with it.
Impressive player, Tim. He's played every game this season.
Wonderful goal last week in the last quarter against Carlton to put the Swans in front. Goes very wide here for O'Loughlin, who did it beautifully against Bassett. Saw him off with a deft little flick of the hip. Not a great kick, a lot of hang time. And Rutten does okay. McGregor to McLeod. Here's John Cock and Bevan again. John Cock this time, not quite. And O'Loughlin has his third kick. Not 15. Gee, that's tough. Nix to Bevan. Swans work at Cooley. Good delivery to Kirk. Big hole between those just behind the man on the mark and Hall up in the goal square, who's urgently waving Kirk on. Wide, and Rutten again manages to prevent the Hall mark. A minor score.
And we just see the two Adelaide forwards there, Welsh and Clark. They are deep into the goal square. They have the whole of the 50 to themselves.
Short kick in to Bassett, who finds a target in Tawney at half-back, run down, turnover. Well played, Sydney. Ablett blazes away, but only as far as Michael Doty, who marks on defensive 50. Playing game number 49 for the Crows. And he goes back to Tawney, who's had plenty of it early. So half forward, looking for Bott, and we'll have a throw in.
Adelaide yet to get it inside their forward 50 this quarter.
It'll be Biglands against Ball. Ball comfortably. Edwards to McLeod, who uncharacteristically spilt the beans. Sydney work it to a half forward once again.
So the Swans, with just a minor score, have done virtually all the attacking. Two big ruckmen for Sydney, Doyle and Ball. Ball rucking at the moment. Crows have both their ruckmen on. Don't have many tall forwards, so Clark's up in a pocket. Now here's Jude Bolton. Well tackled by Stenglein. Kirk, who does have Rasciuto, as you'd expect. Swans are tied up again.
And we just see McLeod and Crouch. Crouch has the tagging role on McLeod.
Ball being thrown up by umpire Matthew Nichols. Biglan's had nearly 40 hit-outs last week against the Demons. Throw-in is a better option. At least it gets the ball back well into the field of play. It's just under 50 metres out on Sydney's left half forward flank.
Crows bench goes for a bit of a run. Biglan's to tap. McGregor squeezed to kick out from heavy traffic to the wing, but it's marked by the man in front, Bevan. Paul Bevan. Got O'Keefe on short and finds him. Goes into the forward pocket. O'Loughlin provides the lead. No mark. Throw in 40 out from the Swans goal.
And we see Bassett on O'Loughlin. Tough play to get away from Bassett. He just always seems to be able to get a fist through. By the end of the game, O'Loughlin will have known that he played a game.
Ball against Biglan's once again. Ball got the punch. In there is Edwards. To Rasciuto to McLeod. So the three experienced players combined there to get Adelaide out of trouble. And a good pass to Skipworth at half back. Clever kick over the top. Here's a chance now for the Adelaide Crows. Trying to pick it up as Doherty. Unsuccessfully. Now he soccers off the ground. Inside 50 go the Adelaide Crows. Welsh can't pick it up. It's a hot footy at the moment. Free kick to Crouch. So Jared Crouch playing game number 147 in a row since his debut. And Matthews takes the mark on centre wing. To Williams, who's been picked up by Doughty, running with him since the ball was bounced. And now Nix. Again from 50, similar distance to Kirk. Paul Williams escaping the shackles of Doughty there. And good delivery. Nix, a South Australian, of course, originally. He's been around for a while now. He's kicked 120 goals, so he knows where they are. But this is a testing shot with the ball by now just a little slippery. Swans have done a lot of attacking for little reward and could do with a goal. That's a lovely kick, and the Swans have the first of the night.
The Truscott Hi-Fi winter sale is on now, and it's raining savings with up to 40% off. Sharp widescreen TVs with DVD VCR combos, $490 off. Panasonic 600-watt Dolby Digital substat packs, $500 off. JVC 300 times digital zoom camcorders, $400 off. And Panasonic 94cm plasmas, $1,000 off. Truscott Hi-Fi, Adelaide's lowest prices with up to 24 months interest-free terms.
So Neil Craig watches on as he sees his team concede the first goal of the match. Biglan's the tap. Here's McLeod. One-on-one with Crouch. Bevan's in there also. Stengline feeds it out. It is tough, slippery conditions down there at the moment.
That football's like a piece of soap at the moment, particularly with the intensity of this game early. Always a lot of errors. The players just need to be aware of that.
So umpire elects to throw it up again. Ball the tap. Matthews got it to Kirk. Puts Sydney back inside 50. Good kick too, given the conditions. They all go for it. They all miss it. Recovering first is Rutten. And that's a pretty clever kick. In fact, a very clever kick from Ben Rutten.
It is, and as long as he sticks to the basics tonight, that's all he needs to do, just try and negate Barry Hall.
Man on man all over the ground. Biglan's against Ball here. Beautifully done by Ball for Bolton. Jay Bolton. That's a lovely mark by Tawney. backed his judgment and his hands. That's not 15, so the callers play on. Edwards to Doughty. And all defence for the Crows in the early part. Now Riley. Goes for Rashudo. That was ambitious. He had a lot against him. Matner arrives. He's besieged. Good effort by Bassett. It was about the only thing he could do. Doughty again. Plenty of support now. Edwards. And now Riley. Gives Bock a chance, but Goods is playing him close and well. Gallagher. Tawney again. Cumbersome build-up this by the Crows. In fact, they haven't really gone anywhere yet. Stengline now. Big Learns, big strong man. Comes out of it with the free. The 50's open if he moves it quickly. Chooses not to. Waits for a shorter option.
Got nothing to kick to, has he?
Right, good long kick. That is a monster kick. And it's still alive. Oh, big test. Maxfield came hard. Jericho, the youngster, the other way.
Let him go, let him go. Back here, back here, back here.
And it's Sydney coming out of it with a free kick, and now Kennelly receiving from Bolton.
Kennelly goes short to the running Kirk, who kicks to half forward. Hall's there running back with the flight of the ball with Ball. Bolton. Good smother by Rutten on ball. Biglands is in there. And Rutten won the ball again. To the wing, looking for John Cock. Well spoiled by Bevan. Throw in on centre wing. Sydney 1-1. Crows yet to score. Here's the Jericho and Maxfield bump. One of the great features of Aussie rules football.
They both protected themselves pretty well.
And can you blame them? Matthews. Well played by Tawney to intercept. Kirk got it back for Sydney. He's gang tackled and will have a bounce.
Just going back to that bump, Tim, I think the great thing about that is that neither player actually jumped off the ground.
Good to see, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep, and it takes the danger out of it. Meant body on body, no harm done.
Doughty to McLeod to half forward, but it's all Sydney once again. Kennelly just lurking. Puts Sydney back inside 50. Bassett couldn't control it. Hall attacks it. Great hard ball. Giddy threw that away. And didn't matter anyway because McLeod won it. Now the rebound. Long kick out wide. Bock shows Goods a clean pair of heels. Runs to 48. Goes for home. It's a point, but great play by Nathan Bock. And Adam Goods, his dodgy knee really got tested there.
It did, and a great play by McLeod too. And McLeod got back nice and quickly to support his defenders.
Good throw this one. I think it was a throw.
Looked dodgy to me. See, Bock was more than a match for Goods for athleticism there. Long kick, Craig Bolton. Bock at it again. Just too strong for Jericho. Leaping Leo. Well, he knows all the loopholes, all the little nooks and crannies of this ground, and manages to find his way through them. McGregor, who's picked up O'Keefe in an interesting matchup. Now Matner in some space. The goal unguarded, but Leo gets back. And wasn't he cool? He marked it about a millimetre inside the line.
Oh, his kick to O'Keefe has just come off. Had to be perfect, and it was.
He's got McVeigh free.
Good.
So McVeigh has just come on the ground. Driving kick to half forward. Bolton's underneath it. Williams is there for Sydney. Stengline for Adelaide. A little toe poke, successful from Stengline to McGregor to Gallagher. Goes back into the middle, finds Skipworth. Now he can kick it into space here, and Edwards can run onto it. In fact, Edwards has taken the mark in the end. And he'll go back from right on 50.
Got Clark.
He has got Clark. He's made some space. Good kick. And good hard running from Matthew Clark, who will line up directly in front, 45 metres from goal.
Yeah, you're spot on there, Steve. The running by Clark was sensational there. He was virtually across their half-back line, and he pushed forward, and Edwards was just able to see him out the corner of his eye.
Kicked just the 33 goals in his 216-game career, Matthew Clark. Started his career with Brisbane. And the Crows are on the scoreboard.
A man's got to win. Make the tough decisions. Get on top and stay there. And you can't do that without a canoe. And to have the biggest, strongest, longest canoe, you need to be your best. Yes, life can be tough, and canoes can be awkward. So why not ignore it all with a refreshing Carlton draft?
Matthew Clark has averaged a goal every 6 or 7 games through his career. He's well above that this year. He's kicked 5 from 15. His reward is a run on the ball. And he's got McLeod at the base of the ruck contest. Stenglein brought down from behind and gets a free kick. Ben Matthews not happy. But he won't change a thing. Now Clark has gone forward again. That was over the shoulder from Doyle. That was very clumsy. Well, Clark could get on a roll here.
Well, I think this is what he's got to do if he's playing on Doyle. Push forward because he just doesn't look comfortable down back.
Yubi, the judge, was to push in the back. Not often paid for that these days. Clark went short. Kirk saw it coming. Did well. Now Maxfield. Inspiring leader. Hall one-on-one with Rutten. And the youngster did well, but it's beautifully scouted by O'Keefe. On his non-preferred. O'Loughlin would have liked the hand pass.
Just early signs with Rutten and also Hall. He just body on body, he's doing very well.
He is. I was just noticing that too. He's matching it with strength, which is no mean feat. 21 years of age, Ben Rutten. So throw in. Sydney's forward pocket. Here we go. Hall and Rutten in the ruck. Rutten got the tap. Well played again. Clark shows great skill for a big man. Kicks it to the wing. Edwards in front. Good mark. Excellent mark in front of Bevan. He made him earn it. Edwards looks for Rashuto. And he puts it inside 50. Welsh. Sydney had the numbers. Maxfield again. And that's a strong mark by Doughty. Scott Welsh been in hot form the last 2 weeks. Not great conditions for full forwards tonight, though.
Clark has pushed forward again.
Jericho's the lead. But they telegraph that one, the Crows. And that allows Kennelly into the picture. Ty Kennelly to McVeigh. Kicks towards the lead from Nicks. John Cock got in the front position. And we'll have a throw in. So as the first quarter winds down, as I said, there's nothing pretty about it, but it's a good, hard, tight contest. 1-1 apiece.
Jared Crouch, another tagging job. McLeod's had it a few times, hasn't been able to do anything particularly destructive. Matthews pinching it off the pack, but with nowhere to go.
And we just see ball back onto the ground for the Swans. Doyle has been taken off. I think Paul Bruce just realises that Clark's athleticism is too much for Doyle.
Crows right in this game in the first term. With the flight, Bevan full of courage. And he looks a very promising player for the Swans. Goes for Hall down the boundary. O'Loughlin squirting it, giving Hall a chance. Kirk waits for the hand pass, needs to get rid of it. Has good awareness, and that's good delivery. Schneider. Well, the slippery ball's got them foxed. Tremendous effort from Paul Bevan at the other end of the ground as Sydney press for a late goal in the lead again.
Interested onlooker. Couple of champions there, Carey and Jarman. Wouldn't you love them in your team?
Sensational players. Are their hats in the ring? Carey make a coach, Sauce?
Oh, I've got no doubt he'd be able to coach.
Is he interested,
the one thing about Wayne Carey is that he had a football brain. Even when he didn't play, like he wasn't playing great games, he was able to bring people into the game or players into the game, and I reckon that's a good sign.
John Cock gets Adelaide out of trouble. Stengline finds Shirley. Shirley to the wing, good kick. Taken by Bock, who again shows great athleticism, gets well away from Goods. Drives it inside 50. Welsh flies, no mark. Matthews, gang tackle by 3 Crows, will have a bounce. The only question with Carey is whether he's got the desire, I guess. I'm sure he'd get an opportunity if he wanted one.
Fascinating to watch it unfold.
Matthew, just went straight for him, Jason.
Now, free kick here to Clark. Oh, it's a good mark too. He's beating good. He's going well.
He's presenting well, and he's just got a bit of size and athleticism about him. Adam Goods, I watched a little bit of him last week when he played deep in defence. He really did struggle, and I think that
there's no doubt his knees giving him help.
Yep, no doubt. He's not 100%, but Fox taking full advantage of it.
Here's the free, and it was shepherding against ball.
That's the offence, I guess, as he really leans into it.
So Nathan Bock, another of the rookie Crows in his first season, kicked 7 goals in his 10 matches so far. In he comes from 30 metres out, and he's missed.
Still, the signs are good for Adelaide. They have a 21-year-old beating a Brownlow medalist at centre-half forward, and they have a 21-year-old who thus far has taken care of Barry Hall at the other end of the ground. Goals are going to be hard to come by tonight. Craig Bolton takes the long option again. Ball is the target. Strong stuff from Goods. Neil Craig, I think, could be pretty happy with what he's seen, but he won't like the look of that. It looks as though Rasciuto has copped one during this first quarter, and his captain is on the bench. Looks with a little bit of arm up there. Clark brilliantly sets up John Cock, and that is a magnificent Ruckman Rover goal.
Matthew Clark has kicked a goal and set one up himself. Beautiful ruckman work to Graham Johncock. Bolton puts Sydney to half forward. McGregor, handball smothered, well played by Schneider. Now O'Keefe to Fixter, to Kirk into the pocket. He's been caught by Barry Hall. Boy, in the last 10 seconds, it's a couple of pats on the back from teammates too, but it was a free kick there. Perfect tackle from Barry Hall. And there is the siren, so it's a very, very tight angle. Which means he can't edge out, he's got to come in on the straight line. There's a beautiful shot of it. Bit of daylight there. Splits the middle. And Sydney avoid their worst quarter for the year by goaling off the siren of Barry Hall. But it was an excellent first quarter. It was a good, hard, old-fashioned game of Aussie rules footy. It's the Adelaide Crows, 2-2-14, leading the Sydney Swans, 2-1-13.
Well, the Swans fought back there in that last goal by Barry Hall, but certainly the Crows have certainly taken it up to them. They've fought hard, one-on-one contest all over the ground, and really this has been set up to be a fabulous game after this first quarter.
We'll take a break at quarter time. It's just a one-point ball game. The Crows in front.
The countdown to a strong...
The bench, Goods with a little bit of arm up there. Clark brilliantly sets up John Cock. And that is a magnificent Ruckman Rover goal.
It certainly was. Matthew Clark set that goal up beautifully and scored one himself. 2-2-14 the Crows, Sydney 2-1-13, and slippery conditions here at the SCG. Stengline 9 disposals, Edwards 7 for the Crows, Kirk 7, Kennelly 6. As we go to Christie and Neil. Christie, I guess the big question is, what's wrong with Mark Rasciuto?
Well, a bit of mystery surrounds what's wrong with Mark Rasciuto at the moment, actually. He hasn't had any treatment. He was involved in a fairly heavy collision, came off the ground, and the physios went over to talk to him, but they haven't actually treated him for anything. But he is starting this quarter on the bench, and once again, there's no one with him, so it's hard to tell exactly what's wrong with him at this stage.
No problems from the Swans. Andrew Shaw will yet to take his spot on the field.
Sydney work it inside 50. Kirk looking for O'Loughlin. Paul's there, held up by a couple of Crows. And we'll have a bounce. 35 out from the Swans goal. As I said, leading possession getters in the first quarter for Adelaide. 9 to Stengline, 7 to Edwards and 6 to Doughty. While for Sydney, 8 to Kirk now, 6 to Kennelly, 5 each to Bevan, Bolton and Crouch. Here's Jude Bolton. Oh, handballs inside 50 to Ball, who was free. He goes for home. O'Loughlin. So Michael O'Loughlin. 50. It's a 50. Bassett did not come back on the mark. And now O'Loughlin will go directly in front from point-blank range and kick a certain goal.
Pick up a slab of Cascade Premium Light, only $24.99 a carton. Or warm up with Johnny Walker Red, $26.99, and Johnny Black, only $33.99 each. Buy both for only $59. Cooper's Dark Ale, $8.99 a six-pack or $31.99 a carton, and Berry 5-litre casks, just $9.99 each.
Good start for the Swans. Just what Adelaide didn't need, but it was clearly there. It was needless from Nathan Bassett, careless. Familiar Michael O'Loughlin mark, holding his opponent at bay with his body and then lunging and falling to the ground as he hugged it to his chest. Edwards, the veteran midfielder for Adelaide, clever kick, and John Cock. Oh, he's unlucky. Time off had been called. Now time on is indicated. Good goal kicker for Adelaide as John Cock kicked 30 last year. Won't quite get one here, and that's a good mark by Ball. I thought he might have been happy to take it through for a behind. Oh, that is very dangerous.
Yeah, poor decision there by Ball.
So Adelaide deep in attack. It looks as though Welsh, Biglands is coming in from the other side to ruck here. Jude Bolton. Barry, nowhere to go for Leo this time. That's a good tackle by John Cock. Luckily it came out. Luckily for the Swans, that is. Jude Bolton getting it clear. Shirley blazing. Sydney free kick. Good short to Barry.
It is real man-on-man stuff out there, Sauce, isn't it?
Oh, it is. They're finding it very tough to find space.
Ball, couldn't hang on to it. Kirk. Oh, clever handball over to Bolton, who knocks it onto Williams. He's got some space here. If he can get the good, kind bounce, he does now. Williams goes to the pocket, looking for O'Loughlin, who manages to keep it alive. Around the corner, Crouch. Oh, a couple of Swans almost collided there. And Adelaide out of trouble. Rutten to McLeod. And McLeod penetrating kick, looking for Matt. There, it's an absolute ripper. But he dropped the beans. Maxfield twists and turns onto the left. Oh, here's a chance now for Sydney. O'Keefe's got the mark and room to move. He also swings onto the familiar left. His kick smothered though. Another mistake. To get a second chance at it. Kennelly back to O'Keefe, a right foot awkward kick. Hall's there, nudged under the ball beautifully by Rutten. McGregor fists it away. Fitster, clever tap to Hall from the pocket. Barry Hall has kicked his second.
A man's got to win. Make the tough decisions. Get on top and stay there. And you can't do that without a canoe. And to have the biggest, strongest, longest canoe, you need to be your best. Yes, life can be tough, and canoes can be awkward. So why not ignore it all with a refreshing Carlton draft?
Hall was the finisher. Fixter was the fixer who gave it to him. Suddenly Hall has two. And young Rutten has a job on his hands as Sydney skip to an 11-point lead. Biglan's the tap, but Jude Bolton the snare. Riley for Adelaide. Just blazing high and wide. Not terribly handsome. Crashed. Clear free kick.
Yeah, and isn't he brave, Brett Kirk? Eyes for the ball.
That was pretty crude, wasn't it?
It was crude, but Kirky, he is a brave, brave player.
Robert Shirley with one arm over the shoulder, and I think the other arm might have made some contact with the head as well. So there wasn't too much doubt about it. Sydney starting to get it together. Now Ball, who gave it up at the other end of the ground a moment ago, will be a little more circumspect, you'd think, this time. Yes, he does find Williams. He can do something from there. He does.
How good was that by Williams?
2 to the 5-cent piece, didn't he?
Oh, well, he got it on moving, and he knew he had to get it in there nice and quickly. The Crows had all their players back, and just to drop that little short pass in to Barry Hall also is just awareness.
Dare I say it, he's kicking brilliantly, is Barry Hall. Distance no problem. And he threads it home. He has 3.
What you need, what you want, yeah. Do it, yeah. Do it good. Do it right. Wow. Do it now. Come on. Wow. What you need today.
Well, the Swans have taken this game by the throat. All of a sudden, dominating disposals, dominating inside 50s. And this coming from a team who have had a terrible record in the second quarters this year. They've only won 4 from 14 second terms, the Swans, but they have started this one brilliantly. Now it's the Crows under pressure. Gallagher to half-forward. Johncock against Bevan. Oh, here's a chance now for Johncock. Gets the cone bounce to Welsh. Couldn't hold on to the hot pass. Matthews sees it safely over the line like all good defenders.
Great recovery by Johncock, wasn't it? He got back onto the ball nice and quickly.
Clark against Ball. Crows need a steadier here. Welsh. Oh, great goal. That is a superb kick.
What are the chances of a tree falling onto your car at One Tree Hill?
Oh, no.
Yep. Last weekend. And because the tree went through the roof, so did my insurance premiums. So I rang around to compare prices. But these insurance companies, Trev, they're all the same.
Did someone call the RAA?
Not me.
The mystery continues. Is he getting ready to come back? They could do with him. Back within 11 points. Jude Bolton working it on. Kirk's been excellent. Fixed dart, who was involved in a Hall goal earlier, nearly another one. Here's O'Loughlin. And here's Kirk, who misses.
Yes, probably should have done better there, Kirk, but what about his running? He's kicked that off the ground and he's ended up in the goal square.
12 possessions, Kirk, 10 minutes into the second term.
And as tough as they come, too. Crows go the long option and it paid handsome dividends. Clark takes the mark, dishes off to Edwards. Again, hasn't got a lot to kick to. Eventually the lead comes from Welsh. Is that in the back? No, says the umpire. Another throw in the Crows' forward pocket. Scott Welsh, who she made something out of nothing a couple of moments ago for the Crows' third goal. Two straight kicks of difference. Clark against Ball. And another throw in. 45 out from the Adelaide Crows goal.
We see Barry Hoare there has two opponents. We see Edwards and Rutner on him at the moment. O'Loughlin is in the forward 50 for the Swans. Bassett is his direct opponent. They have the entire forward 50 to themselves.
Kirk again. And now the Swans are away.
And Hall says, catch me if you can. Take a brave man to stand in his path, but Adelaide had brave men and true. Free kick if they want it. They go on. Well shot the instep. Needs a mistake, and he got it from Goods, who just gets off the hook. Crouch, Maxfield, been very good. 2-on-1 Adelaide's way. Edwards might have marked it. Sensed O'Loughlin coming hard as he continues to. Well wrapped up by Riley.
And he did well, O'Loughlin, just to lock it in there as well.
Kirk again. No disposal this time. He has become considerably more than a stopper. Here comes Rashuto, which is a good sign for Adelaide.
And Shawbull coming onto the ground for the Swans also.
First game for the year to Andrew Shawbull. And Rashuto immediately into the action.
Rashuto was just testing out his right shoulder before he came on, so that seemed to be what the problem was.
Thanks, Christy.
Jason, same before.
So this time the free kick goes Jason Ball's way against Clark.
Shawbull on third game of Fergus Watts. A couple of Melbourne public school boys, one from Xavier and the other from Wesley.
Schneider. many airs and graces about Adam Schneider, but boy, he can play. Had a tough year with injury, playing his 9th match. To Williams, couldn't hang on to it. Gallagher mops up to McGregor, sweeping handball to Tawney. Tawney to half forward. Goods. Won that little battle with Nathan Bock. To Doyle, who just blazes away and coughs it straight up back to Tawney. To Gallagher, and the Crows away again. Into the middle. McLeod steaming through. That is a brilliant pass. They don't come much better than that. The laces were out. They only went a couple of metres off the ground all the way. And Scott Welsh will line up from 40 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
Well, that was a Goods mark. After he'd taken that mark, he put Doyle under extreme pressure, who turned the ball over to Adelaide, which allowed McLeod to run through the corridor of the ground.
Well, Scott Welsh kicked one not all that long ago. So 1-1 to Scott Welsh, who, as we said, has been in hot form the last couple of weeks with 15 goals.
I think it was 8-1 last week, so I guess he was due to miss at some stage.
Yeah, career best last week, 8 against the D's.
He didn't quite have the carry, but Gallagher didn't have the height. Crouch to Kirk, to Ablett. Not a great kick. All deftly to Bevan, but Riley ensuring that the Swans were going nowhere. So 11 points in it. Swans getting on a roll as Hall started to cut loose, but Adelaide have pulled their way back with a goal to Welsh, and once again they're doing their share of the attacking. Crouch, clever knock on. Rasciuto into the fray. Doughty to Edwards. He measures off the kick, but it's dangerous. Well rode by Riley to McLeod. Great smother by Maxfield. For Matthews, just can't escape. Been some good smothering, a couple by Andrew McLeod. They've been very good. And that one on McLeod by the Sydney skipper.
Oh, Crouch got rid of Edwards. Can he thread it through? Just across the face for a point.
Yes, and that's the value of holding your feet. Jared Crouch held his feet. Edwards went to ground.
So 5-3 plays 3-3. Sydney by 2 straight kicks. Kirk. So no one in particular. Crouch again. Got the handball out to Williams. Umpire got in the way a couple of times. Eventually dishes off to Matthews. Long kick, Hall's double teams. He's still got it! Barry's got more!
Big Pond broadband prices have dived. Starting from $29.95 a month on a 24-month plan. Plus, for a limited time, $0 installation for existing Big Pond dial-up members. Call 1-800-008-874.
I was a white-collar worker. At 45, I decided to undertake a mature age apprenticeship in furniture making.
Ian's great. He's very enthusiastic and just thirsty for knowledge.
It's the opportunity to indulge a passion.
You'll be amazed where new apprenticeships can take you. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Barry Hall's first kick of the night came after the quarter-time siren. We're now 17 minutes into the second quarter, and he has 4 goals. That was a conjuring act. He is on fire.
Brownlow medal form.
You wouldn't rule him out. He has 52 goals for the season, playing predominantly as a centre-half forward, although they do rotate. It's a revolving door formation. McVeigh to O'Loughlin. And the laces were out at the other end of the ground.
And you mentioned about Barry Hall. He is a sensational player, but there's one player out in the midfield for the Swans at the moment. He's had 8 touches this quarter already, Brett Kirk. He is a critical player to the Swans lineup.
Good delivery from Jared McVeigh. And O'Loughlin has a chance to kick his second of the quarter. Good preparation. Good relaxing breath. Just fading. Both full forwards missing from set shots in the last 3 or 4 minutes. Swans by 19.
Kick in goes short to Doughty. Who switches, and this is Bassett. He's got plenty of room to move. Kicks now, and that's a terrific mark taken by Nathan Bock. Strong hands. Bock leads on from Welsh. Barry just nudges him under the ball. We'll have a throw in 40 out from the Crows' goal.
And Michael O'Loughlin has run up the ground. I think he might have followed Tyson Edwards just to make sure that Adelaide didn't have one loose. Though Williams covers Edwards now and I think has given O'Loughlin the all clear. Skipworth over it for Adelaide, but no prizing it out of there. Umpire Nichols will try and separate that lot. Been a good quarter for the Swans. They've kicked 4 goals to 1. Kennelly very clever. Deliberate little foot pass to a man only 3 or 4 metres away. And O'Loughlin, whose worth was realised there as he'd gone to the back half, is able to find Bevan, who keeps bobbing up in all the right places. 50 against young Riley, and it's just coming a little unstuck for Adelaide.
See, this young man's emerging very quickly, isn't he, Paul Bevan?
He doesn't waste any time. Hall is there, but this time McGregor chopped it off. I reckon if his hands hadn't been there, Halls were next in line. Matthew Nix arriving like the proverbial Barry Hall and holding it in.
Good aggressive spoil there by Nix. Forces another stoppage inside the Swans forward 50.
O'Loughlin has a rest. Ball comes back on. See if Barry Hall can conjure something here. He contests the ruck knockout with Clark. Rasciuto got it out to McGregor. Maxfield's there for Sydney. Williams in support, but Stegline wins out as he soccers off the ground. Gains about 40 metres for his team. And another throw in. Leading possession getters for the Swans. 15 to Kirk, 10 to Jude Bolton, and 9 each to Crouch and O'Loughlin. For the Crows, 11 each to Edwards and Stengline, and 9 to Doughty. This will be Doyle against Clark. McVeigh. He finds Williams.
Who has a new opponent, Stengline, standing the mark there. Doughty was on him early.
7th disposal coming up for Paul Williams. He goes to his skipper in Maxfield.
One thing the Swans do is that they do not waste the football.
And Maxfield pumps it long. Hall's in front. Pushed out of the contest. Screams for the free kick. None forthcoming. McGregor again. Good kick too into space and running onto his Matner. Kept his feet. Shows a clean pair of heels. Tries to set up Welsh. Oh, had both hands on it and spilt it. Should have hung on to that. They still might get a goal. Edwards. Now Matthews for Sydney saves the day to Goods, to Kennelly. And he sweeps the handball wide to Williams. And there's a lost opportunity for the Adelaide Crows.
And the Swans defence did it well, as they so often do. They really are a unit. Kennelly was very good just to get a little hit forward under pressure before. And there he is. He's a wonderful young player. Now Matthews. Late in the quarter, the Swans have done a lot of good work. They don't want to give any of it back. Craig Bolton now. Man on the mark, a little careless. He's able to escape. Here's Hall again. Couldn't get into the contest. Doughty, John Cock. Sloppy hands. Bassett. Bit of hang time with the hand pass. They're still under pressure. Riley to Doughty. Schneider's got him. Good tackle. Did he have prior opportunity? Schneider has been awarded the free kick. Gee, they made a mess of that. Didn't have a lot of time to dispose before the tackle came.
What do you reckon, Sauce? I reckon he was caught red-handed.
Well, I think he could have released the hand. His hands actually ended up getting free where he could have got his fists to the ball.
Schneider loves a goal. Doesn't get one. Just at the moment, the Crows defenders are under enormous pressure. The inside 50s for this quarter is 15-7. You don't get much run from your defence when the ball keeps going inside your back 50 anyway.
But they're only 20 points down. There's not much in the modern game. The conditions aren't all that bad now either. That's a good mark. McLeod to Bob, couldn't hang on to it. Rutten was the original mark taker.
Yes, and just interesting to see that Neil Craig sticking with Rutten on Barry Hall. Barry Hall, of course, has kicked 4 goals.
Biglands to Stengline. He's all wrapped up by ball.
Adelaide, Piper!
Free kick to Edwards.
One out!
And Biglands has sneaked forward. And he's got the mark right on 50. He'll play on here. Makes the ankle tough. He squares it up. Goods. Rushes through the behind.
Yeah, good play by Adam Goods there. He went back nice and hard and just managed to get the fist of the ball.
You're close to half-time. They're resting some good men. Maxfield and Williams, of course, a couple of the veterans. Ryan O'Keefe there as well.
Jude Bolton's limping off here too. It's a bit proppy.
Williams comes back. Goods does well, doesn't he, Sauce? He's not a natural defender, but his instincts are pretty good.
Yeah, they are, and just the short time he's going to spend out in the defence, I think it'll help him his development as a footballer. Even though he's won a Brownlow, it does help to learn a bit of footy down back.
Still a 19-point lead to the Swans, and the return of Williams produces a dividend immediately and gives Hall a chance. He didn't quite keep it in. Bassett just managed to prize it away.
Barry thought about going on with it there just momentarily.
His focus is good though, isn't it, these days?
Yeah, I think 2 or 3 years ago he may have gone on with it.
It's outside the Swans 50. Schneider. Doughty's got him this time. And he'll look in the umpire's direction and say, well, what about that one? And it is. 15 all. Rasciuto. The Bock again. Shawble playing him well. Old-fashioned defender. And it is like so old-fashioned his hair's going a bit grey.
Yes, it is. And an area where the Crows are falling down at the moment is their half-forward line. They just need to provide a contest and get some crummers to the ball.
Ball the tap. Kirk will get there first. The boundary line beats him. Adelaide still well and truly in this match, even though it's been a pretty dominant second term by the Swans. Kirk under pressure. Did well to get it to Matthews, to half-back Crouch. McLeod. Edwards again. He's been busy. Disposal number 13. Again, Welsh got both hands on the footy, couldn't hang on to that one. That was pretty difficult, that attempt. And they'll have a ball up as we go to Neil Cordy with an injury update on Jude Bolton.
Yes, Jude Bolton. They just had a look at his right knee, did the stability test on it, and it's come through okay, but he's still a little bit sore on it.
Paul Roos is rotating his troops as he does. Only 8 Swans have been out there for every second of the contest. 14 of the Crows have been out there throughout this first half, which is nearly complete. Here's a chance for Adelaide. Prosciutto just not getting the hook on it he needed. Tough call for the goal umpire there. Gives the score to the Crows. But they trail by 18 points with half-time just over a minute away.
Stuart Maxfield to do the kicking in. His target will be ball. And he did that a little bit too easily in the end. Ball. Bigland has just played off him a little bit and consequently couldn't get to the contest.
I sense the Swans know there's only about 50 seconds left in this game. They're happy to hold the ball up.
Ball kicks to the wing.
I should say the quarter, Steve.
Kirk kicks to half forward. O'Loughlin. And Rutten's kick goes out on the full. So one last chance for the Swans, and they can get it moving quickly. Charlie Walsh?
Yep.
It is Charlie Walsh.
Neil Craig, of course, worked with the cycling team. Don't mention the war.
No. Kick to the 50. Williams front and centre. It's a thumping kick into the goal square. It's a free for a hold. Oh, this will break the Crows' heart. It's a free kick for a hold off the ball. And Doyle will kick one. A very important goal in the context of this match as we near half-time.
Yes, well, the Swans kicked one late goal in the first quarter through Barry Hall, and now they're doing it with Doyle.
That's a heartbreaker for the Crows, and a big goal for Sydney on half-time. And in that term, the Sydney Swans kicked 5 goals 4 to the Adelaide Crows, 1 goal 3. And the margin at half-time is 4 straight kicks. 7-5-47 plays 3-5.
Be the next Australian Idol.
I'm going to be
the next Australian Idol. Australian Idol, Channel 10. Seriously.
Australian Idol premieres 7:30 Tuesday on 10.
The Australian Red Cross Blood Service needs blood. So we gave blood to make this ad. Now we're asking you to, because Australia needs 20,000 donations every week. To give, call 13 14 95.
During Discount City Carpet stock clearance, not only get Adelaide's lowest prices on carpet, but pay cash and get free installation, no matter when you have it laid. For a limited time, buy carpet, pay cash, and don't pay for installation. Discount City Carpet, Superstores and Super Warehouse, your one-stop flooring shop.
Welcome to savings. Welcome to value. Welcome to Super Cheap Auto. Get this super car polisher for only $19.99, and these sheepskin seat covers just $19.99 each.
You'll get the lot for less.
Ready to get your hands on a big record-breaking interest-free deal with a huge 48 months interest-free on widescreen plasma and LCD TVs? Jump into Radio Rentals for a massive 48 months interest-free on lounges. Land a brand new bed with 48 months interest-free. Or get a new computer with 48 months interest-free. Get a record-breaking 48 months interest-free at SA's biggest electrical retailer. Now that's big!
Game on at Pizza Hut. These holidays, choose Need for Speed Underground, The Sims, Medal of Honor Allied Assault, or Lord of the Rings Return of the King. One PC game with 2 large pizzas in Pizza Hut's PC game meal.
131166.
Footy fans, there's really nothing better than seeing the game live. Don't miss your chance to get down to Amy Stadium and see the Camry Crows, the team for all South Australians. Home game daily tickets are now on sale at Bass, and they cost $20.90 for adults, $14.40 concession. Kids under 15 get in for $2.75, or 2 adults and 2 kids can see the game for $39. Show your support on July the 4th for the Clash with the Demons. See you there.
David is an electro-technology new apprentice. Well, in the future I want to head into electrical engineering. His training is both on and off the job. He's gaining specialised skills that very few people have.
You'll be amazed where new apprenticeships can take you. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Need some practice? Free picture messaging to anyone on any network till the end of September this year. Join Vodafone today.
In a world premiere.
Well, Brett Quirk, he's got it all. He's the best tagger in the competition. These days he gets plenty of the football and he has enormous courage, which of all his qualities, Steve Silvani, I reckon, is just about the best. If you have a look at the half-time scores here, and the Swans got away in the second term. They've scored a goal on both the quarter-time and half-time sirens, and they lead 7-5-47 to 3-5-23. Barry Hall, obviously the standout.
Half-time that they are still in this game and that they can turn it around in the second half. Mark Rasciuto came off in the first term with a bit of a shoulder injury. He started the second term on the bench before he went back out on the ground. It's his left shoulder. Keep an eye on it in the second half, although he seems to be okay, wants to stay out there, and the Crows need him out there.
One issue for the Swans is Jude Bolton, but he seems to be okay with that knee injury. Should be starting on the centre of the ground right now.
24 points the margin at half-time in favour of the Sydney Swans, but as we said, the Crows still well and truly in this contest. McLeod has an opportunity here, gathers. Couldn't find Bock, who had it knocked away by Goods. A throw in, 50 out from the Crows' goal. Clark and ball. Ball got hand to it. Ablett put his body on the line. Kirk got it to Matthews, to Maxfield. Now Sydney into attack. O'Loughlin couldn't trap it. Schneider hacks it off the ground. O'Loughlin showing plenty of dash. Got into Edwards. Bassett mops up for the Crows. To Stengline, pops one over the top. Ambitious kick. A couple of Swans collided there. Nicks came off worse for wear. Stengline tackled by Bolt.
Thank you. Good.
And we'll have a bounce on centre wing. Awkward ball for Gallagher. Swans still by 24 points. Rasciuto set up on the half-forward line. So did McLeod at the first bounce. McLeod running on the ball now. Bassett and O'Loughlin at each other. So Fixter having the calves work on. Ben Doyle as well. Bevan, who was pretty good in the first half, is going through the rotation process.
Here's Kirk, 17 possessions already. Craig Bolton had a ball up.
It's done well there, the Swans, to hold the ball up, give themselves another opportunity.
Watts back to the bench. Bigland's on the bench, and they've set up with Scott Stevens as their second tall forward, former Swan. This is pretty much how the first quarter was played. Nick's spraying it into the corridor, not getting a result, and the Crows are away. Bassett to Rutten, who has had his hands full after a promising start on Hall. Goods, after some worrying moments against Bock, started to produce all the answers through the second quarter.
Just disguised that well, Adam Goods, just to take it over the boundary line.
Ball against Clark once again. Jude Bolton snares it. And another throw in.
Yes, and this third quarter pretty much the start of the way the game started. One-on-one football, everyone got an opponent.
Kennelly, good tackle by Clark. And another stalemate.
Good to see that Neil Craig has left young Rutten on Barry Hall. Be interesting to see whether he goes with him for the whole 4 quarters.
Williams, good tackle by Doughty. Crouch. John Cock. Oh, Shirley has kicked. Oh, poster. That would have been a handy goal.
It's great awareness by Shirley, wasn't it? He was just about to kick the ball, but knew it was going to get smothered, so he just held it up, was able to get around the Swans player.
23 points the margin in favour of the Swans.
Maxfield to Shawble. And Crouch. He's done the job pretty well on McLeod. Close to the line for Adelaide. Stevens arriving, making sure that there was no easy mark for the Swans. Crows with just 3 goals for the night so far, and they've got to kick plenty in the second half if they're going to win this match. Matthews, good attacking hand pass. Crouch, nowhere to go, just putting it there and hoping. Kirk hustling it away. He has been outstanding. It was a pretty good kick. And here's Barry. Oh! All that for one behind.
Did he hold anything back there, Tim? Barry.
He really does.
We can laugh. We're way up here we're out of danger from Barry Hall. And we'll have a throw in at half forward. Swans into attack. Clark once again against ball. Rasciuto, good little give to Edwards. Now the Crows are away. Shirley to Gallagher. Promising build up here. Welsh. Submitted on the half volley. And have a throw in at Adelaide's half forward line. Hasn't quite been Scott Welsh's night so far.
Swans fans have seen Adelaide beat their beloved team in red and white many times here. It's not been an unhappy hunting ground for the Crows. Kirk, another possession. Here's McLeod, but just couldn't keep it in.
Haven't defeated the Crows, Sydney, since round 16, 2001. 4 losses in a row they've suffered at the hands of Adelaide. In fact, Adelaide's record here is superb. They've won 4 of their last 6 at the SCG.
It was a good match. Great takeaway by Bolton. Rutten did okay for Tawney. Riley. Sting line, hemmed in.
Good pressure. Yeah, great pressure by the Swans players there.
And that man, front and centre, Brett Kirk, has been the pick of them out there tonight. He has been outstanding.
And Tim, he's usually the tagger. Shirley has got the run with roll on Brett Kirk. 20 possessions to Brett Kirk for the game.
So yet another throw in as Clark and Ball go at it once again. Huge number of players around the football. Quick out, kick out to the wing. Matthews gets there first. Kicks back inside 50. Schneider run down and beautifully tackled by McLeod. And he's rewarded with a free kick. He switches to Riley. Looks for Tawney. Williams did well to spoil and delay the tackle. Good play by Paul Williams. Turnover, O'Keefe. Just banged it onto the boot. Inside 50 it goes.
There he goes.
There's Kirk. Once again, and this time we'll have a bounce. About 48 out from the Swans goal. 4 goals the difference. Great tackle by Andrew McLeod on Schneider.
Yep. He was a bit slow there, Schneider. Could have got across to O'Loughlin.
How many steps represent too many if you're tackled in relation to holding the ball? Because he'd taken 4.
Yeah, I reckon 3 or 4.
Pretty ugly stuff. Maxfield doesn't mind the heavy going.
Is there?
No, there's not. Got it, 1, 2, 3, and on the 4th, mown down. Sudden death. Clark to Doughty to McLeod, who's getting a bit of it in this quarter, but hasn't really been able to do anything constructive. Ryan O'Keefe, a long way up the ground. Handled it well. Goods, hand pass, well smothered by Stevens. And the kick nearly out on the full, not quite.
It's been the story of the night, though, for the Crows, hasn't it? Just pulling away across that half-forward line, not being able to find that target.
We've had 10 minutes in this quarter, and they've kicked 1 behind each. Williams, Bolton, wonderful takeaway by the Swans. That was beautiful to O'Loughlin. It doesn't get any better. Great footy. What about the kick? And the hands all along the line. Lovely, crisp handling of the ball. Great acceleration, perfect delivery.
And Bassett was right on O'Loughlin.
Yeah, it was a good grab, wasn't it?
It was a great grab. It really just showed you how good the kick was as well.
Now this to break the drought. O'Loughlin 1 goal from a couple of shots. This very gettable, directly in front. The man on the mark, probably just inside 40. For his 300th career goal, and there's a landmark for Michael O'Loughlin.
Big Pond broadband prices have dived, starting from $29.95 a month on a 24-month plan. Plus, for a limited time, $0 installation for existing Big Pond dial-up members. Call 1-800-008-874.
I reckon anything's better than being here is seeing it up close and perfect on a Fujitsu Plasmavision. Only Plasmavision has the exclusive AVM chip for the clearest pictures. Get a Fujitsu like I did. It's the world's finest plasma.
Well, the Crows will have to produce something special from here. They're now 5 goals down in what has been a low-scoring contest. And they're in big trouble now. 8-6 plays 3-6. As we near the halfway mark of the 3rd term. Matner with his head over the ball. Got it to Rasciuto. Kick intercepted by Kirk. Swans away again. That's a good mark though by McGregor. Ken McGregor. It's one-on-one football up the field. Not a lot to kick to. Kirk. Got it out. Edwards. Kirk's in there again. He's tackled. And another bounce. Just trying to think what the Adelaide Crows can do, Steve. Not much really, is there?
Well, no, they just haven't got that forward, have they? They just need one of their forwards to stand up, and I'm just not too sure who they can put up in their forward line.
Well, do you take a risk and put McGregor up there?
Yeah, that's a good option, or they can go with a smaller type forward line where they can run with Smalls up there.
Edwards again, he's battled hard tonight and found some room. Needs some support. Squeezes the kick out. O'Keefe dropped the mark. Leo Barry to Maxfield to O'Keefe. Swans direct football. Back inside 50. O'Loughlin, great snare. Twists and turns. Turns Bassett inside out. Does it the second time. O'Loughlin, inside out kick. Pulls in the forward pocket. Oh, Michael O'Loughlin. Just turned Bassett inside out a couple of times.
He almost gave it away before the ball was coming in.
Chance here for Sydney to extend their lead. And Crouch is all tied up by McLeod. Another bounce. 15 metres out for the Swans goal.
30 points up and looking like extending that, rather than having the lead contract. Tough night for Adelaide. Jude Bolton again dangerous in these situations. Got to be a ball up. Umpire Nichols taking a long time to call for it. Jericho and Skipworth getting ready for the Crows. Tawney just blazing. Dangerous kick, but fortunately for him, Rashudo leads the race. Hasn't been able to exert an influence, having spent time on the bench, clearly injured in the first half. Now Matner, who is a left footer and a good one. Just a bit strong though for Stevens, for Bock.
And we saw the kick, Tim, from Rashudo. It was a short kick. The reason he had to go short was there was no forward coming up to the half-forward line.
And Paul Williams going through the revolving rotational door for the Swans.
Edwards. Rashudo. But again, Sydney had the numbers. Kirk to Kennelly, and the Swans are away. Kennelly takes on and beats Johncock. Finds Doyle. To Hall. He's double teamed, can't take the mark. Riley gives it to McLeod, who finds Bassett.
This next kick's the one where they've been falling away.
He kicks in the direction of Edwards. And Matthews makes sure it goes over the line. 5 goals in favour of Sydney. Little rib tickler there. And 2. And 3. As Doyle takes on Clark. Bolton on hands and knees. Fed out the handball. And we'll have a bounce 50 out from the Crows' goal. Umpire throws it up. Doyle the tap.
I guess one thing the Crows could do, Steve, is that Mark Prosciutto has been quite successful playing it full forward on occasions, so if they open up that forward 50 and allow him to be one-on-one out of the goal square, it may be able to give them a little bit up there.
This could be a short quarter. We've had 1 goal, 2 behinds kicked. Craig Bolton, Paul. He played on and ran over the line. Umpire let it go. He squares it up. Ball's there. Flying from the side spectacularly was Nix. That was interesting. Ball took it and played on. I reckon he ran over the line, but
he did, and he might have taken the ball over. Oh, he had
no
to have
doubt by
no doubt.
So anyway, got away with that. Barry.
Well, it was a lapse of concentration, really, wasn't it, to be so close to the line and to play on. It was low percentage, and it should have been called out. Bigland's getting a healthy knock on that. Gallagher and McVeigh. Swans have made 28 interchanges during the course of the night. Adelaide's 12. Paul Roos keeping them fresh. Rutten, who kicked 3 goals with his first 3 kicks in league footy when he made his debut in round 16 last year. Different story tonight. Trying to curb Barry Hall. Done pretty well, other than for about 1 destructive burst of 10 or 15 minutes. Good effort. And Adelaide are a bit of a chance here. Stevens, but Matthews came at him hard. Bassett working it on. Now Shawble leading Bock to it. Ablett caught over the ball. It's a dangerous place to be tonight. This time there'll be a ball up. Well, there it is again. And that movement of the ball as he took it across his body. Had to have taken it over the line, but the umpire would have been blindsided, of course. Good centre from Edwards, but an equally good mark from Adam Goods.
Goes short to Kennelly, who drills it to centre-half forward. Paul's got the sit, outmarks Rutten. Gets past McLeod, but not Rutten the second time, and Barry gets pinged. So free kick to Rutten. To John Cock. Goes back inside to McGregor.
You can't question the Crows' endeavour at the moment. It's just that they just can't find that forward target.
Barry pinged. Plenty of opportunity there.
Yep.
No question.
Well, we're not heading down the tune of classic quarter, are we, this one? We won't see this quarter replayed in 30 years' time.
I hope not. Bigland's healthy thump again. Edwards. Craig Bolton with Shirley. Tawney helping it on, but to Goods. Now, there was no prior opportunity there. Gee, there have been some ugly packs. It is the kind of night that produces them. But it hasn't been a game that's produced a lot of free-flowing footy. John Cock hemmed in here. He's done all right. He did very well. Bigland's unfortunately muffed the kick. Swans have kicked 1 goal. Crows none. 1-1 to 1 behind in this quarter in 21.5 minutes of action. Was that a legal hand pass? Surely not. McVeigh to Matthews. Paul. Crouch. And now an open 50 for Michael O'Loughlin to work in. And he was brought down. Yes, he played it beautifully. Umpire Kennedy are judging that I think the degree of difficulty for the Swans is such that the option that most advantages them is for the ball to come back. He did this beautifully, brought it down for himself, and then he was brought down by Bassett.
Well, I reckon the Ormer also knew, Tim, that he had a Swans player to his right-hand side, so the fall of the ball was always going to fall to their advantage.
He's kicked the only goal of the term. And he's lining up for number 3 of the night. Number 301 of his career. Not happy, Jan. 2-2 for Michael O'Loughlin, but the Swans still very comfortably placed in a low-scoring game.
Biglands in front takes the mark. Well, the Crows are heading for their lowest quarter of the year. Their previous worst was 4 behinds back in round 1. In this term, they've kicked 1 behind. Welsh. Soccer off the ground by Goods. Oh. Is that a mark to Welsh? No, it's not. Umpire lets it go. Now he'll be forced to bounce.
As they say in Parliament, if not, why not? Not 15?
Yeah. So, up it goes. There's no one around the ball. He just throws it into some vacant territory, the ump. Fortunately, a Sydney man got their first Doyle, who's going crook at the umpire, saying, what are you doing? Well, that's going on. Gallagher wins the ball for Adelaide. To McGregor. Around the corner, back inside 50. Biglands has got the sit, can't take the mark. Doughty's in there. So is Bevan. Tries to kick it, almost a drop kick in the end. Welsh, good tackle by Williams. A bounce.
I thought the throw-up was meant to be foolproof. Umpire head,
just no one there.
But it seemed to slip off the hand. It went nowhere. Oh, well, I suppose he got a little bit of elevation, but it didn't really climb.
Crows deep into attack, but the mark's taken in the defensive goal square by Goods. So Chauvel of Goods, who kicks it to the wing, looking for Jude Bolton. And we'll have a throw in. Leading possession getters in the match. Kirk, way ahead of the rest. He's got 24. Crouch, 15. Bolton and Kennelly, 14 each for the Swans. For the Crows, 16 to Edwards and 14 to Doughty and Riley.
Well, Tim, the scoreboard hasn't been troubled this quarter, but the tackle count, 21 tackles apiece this quarter.
It's a good score. Someone's keeping the statisticians awake. The tacklers. McGregor trying for the mark from behind. He has gone forward at Stephen Quartermain's urging, but the man in front, leaping Leo Barry, has received the judge's verdict. McLeod hasn't done much more than defend in this corner. Ryan O'Keefe. Pretty quiet tonight. Was actually picked up by McGregor, who normally has a key forward. Keep a neat left foot kick. Bolton roving Hall intelligently. A pretty good placement of the ball too, but Doughty had it covered. For the scoreboard operators, it's like a slow afternoon with England batting in an Ashes test and backs to the wall, Sauce.
We've seen plenty of that here over the years at the SCG. Ball, quick kick. To behind. .56 plays 24. McGregor takes a good mark at half-back. He's got Stegline free on the wing. Left it a little bit late. Now, in the end, he takes an excellent mark. Free kick, whatever. Stengline. Quick handball to Gallagher. Good bump by O'Keefe. Welsh going crooked the umpire. Off the ball, but the free kick's going Sydney's way. It's going to be taken by Williams.
Great pressure by O'Keefe. Seemed to be out of the contest. Got in there. Put his body on the line.
And that's three-quarter time at the SCG. And the third quarter saw Sydney kick 1 goal free to the Adelaide Crows, one behind. It was the Crows' worst third quarter for the year.
No, it wasn't great football. You can't question their endeavour though, Steve. I mean, obviously both teams struggled to put the score on the board in that quarter, but they just failed to find the targets up forward. Sydney had their opportunities but couldn't convert. But where the Crows just couldn't find that target to kick goals up forward, they need a restructure.
As we said, the Crows' worst quarter for the year, just a one behind. And they're in all sorts now because at three-quarter time it's Sydney 8-8, leading.
In 2003, one show captured our imagination like no other.
The winner, Guy Sebastian.
In 2004, Australian Idol is going to be bigger than ever. That's what I'm talking about!
Premiering over 2 huge nights.
The journey to superstardom begins. My dreams came true.
There is only one Australian Idol, premiering 7:30 Tuesday and 7:30 Wednesday.
Our great land Australia is our lifeblood. Its future is in our hands. Some of our rivers and agricultural areas are suffering from salinity and poor water quality, but we're working on it. The Australian government has already begun the largest environmental rescue plan since Federation. From your backyard to your local region, you can help. Call this number or go to our website. Together, let's give our land a hand. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Because Bunnings Warehouse has the lowest prices every day, you can still afford to do all the home improvements you want. Rubber doormat, $4.95. Energy Saver globes, $16.89 per pack. 4-litre in-colour interior acrylic, $45. Outdoor pole heater, a low $247. 1,300-watt hammer drill, $69. And silicon sealants from $6.40 each. We won't be beaten on price. That's guaranteed.
Bunnings Warehouse!
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
At Amy, we believe that good drivers deserve to pay a lower premium. That's why we introduce new Flexi Premiums. Now you choose how much you pay and how much you save. With new Flexi Premiums, you can save up to 50% off your comprehensive motor insurance by choosing an excess level that suits you. And when you can save with Amy's Flexi Premiums, why pay full premium? So get lucky and call Amy now.
Lucky, you're with Amy.
At Subway, we strive for greatness. Behold, fresh, crisp vegetables, meat sliced to perfection,
Creamy, delicious cheeses.
and fresh baked bread. So flawless, so superb, it's almost too beautiful to eat. But who are we kidding? It's delicious.
Speaking of delicious, try Subway's Chipotle Southwest Steak and Cheese Sandwich. It's tender steak, fresh vegetables, savoury melted cheese, and a drizzle of the Chipotle Southwest sauce. It's what to eat when you want to eat fresh.
Subway, eat fresh.
Ready to get your hands on a big record-breaking interest-free deal with a huge 48 months interest-free on widescreen plasma and LCD TVs? Jump into Radio Rentals for a massive 48 months interest-free on lounges. Land a brand new bed with 48 months interest-free. Or get a new computer with 48 months interest-free. Get a record-breaking 48 months interest-free at SA's biggest electrical retailer. Now that's big!
Big Pond broadband prices have dived. Starting from $29.95 a month on a 24-month plan. Plus, for a limited time, $0 installation for existing Big Pond dial-up members. Call 1-800-008-874.
The Australian Government is working to protect our environment. To find out how you can get involved in your region, call this number or go to our website. Together, let's give our land a hand. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Well, it's been 49 minutes of actual game time since the Crows have kicked their last goal. And at three-quarter time, it's Sydney with a comfortable lead in these conditions. 8-8, plays 3 goals, 6. Hall's kicked 4 goals, all in the first half. O'Loughlin's got a couple. Kirk's been a star with 24 touches. Bolton's got 15. And the Crows, well, they certainly can't question their desire or their intensity. They've been having a crack, but just haven't been able to convert up forward. Haven't got a lot to kick to across half forward. As we have a look at the fresh legs for both teams, Steve.
Yes, well, there's plenty of run there for the Swans with Dixter, McVeigh, and also Schneider, and we have the 2 talls in Doyle, who's been sharing the ruck work. And for the Crows, a lot of youngsters there, Watts and Jericho. You should see them get a bit of time this last quarter. And young Skipworth is the other youngster on the bench.
Watts, in fact, is up forward, so he's getting another crack. They have gone a bit shorter, as we did during our little off-air chat during three-quarter time discuss. Still, it's Rutten on Barry Hall. Hall has kicked 4 goals, which is a telling contribution on a night such as this. But they all came in a very brief period.
Away in the last quarter, and Clark smashed it forward. John Cox there, stripped of the footy. Crouch, kick out, but Tawney will get there first for the Crows. If he can keep his feet. He does. Now he's tackled. Edwards cleverly kept it alive, but Williams picked it up. Little underground handball to Matthews, to Kirk. Sydney have the numbers. So half forward, McLeod gets back for Adelaide, taking the mark. Plays on straight away. Kicks in the direction of Rasciuto, and he's pushed.
Advantage! No advantage.
So the ball coming back to Mark Rasciuto, who by his lofty standards has been quiet tonight, although as I said, he copped a heavy knock to the shoulder early in the game and spent a bit of time on the bench. Rasciuto's only had 9 disposals. Averaging this year 26, third in the AFL in disposals. So way down, but as I said, he has a good excuse tonight, obviously carrying some sort of injury. Throw in, 45 out from the Crows' goal. Clark the tap. Guess who amongst the action again?
Jason, just go straight for him. There it is over there, because he can't get to it. He's in the way.
Well, the throw-ups have caused a bit of consternation tonight, haven't they? Both ruckmen have given away a few free kicks for shepherding.
I'm glad the ruckmen get a bit confused about it. It makes me feel better. O'Keefe on the end of that one. Working his way well into the back half. He's after Hall. A decent bite of it, but not quite enough. McGregor now off Stengline's hand pass. And the misery continues. Another throw in. Brett Bigland's on the bench. Scott Stevens flirted with during the second quarter, but not really able to produce the answer for Adelaide. I think if Rasciuto was right, he might be able to provide some sort of target up there. Here's Jude Bolton. And Craig, his namesake, I reckon there was a certain degree of intent about that, but no umpire's going to ping him. So another throw-in.
Tim, the Crows have opted to have Watts and also Bock out of the goal square. Just a thing, as you mentioned, a Rasciuto out of the goal square and maybe a John Cock might be a better mix with the slippery conditions.
Great smother by McVeigh.
I do recall Rashudo kicking 5 in conditions rather worse than this against Carlton one day at Optus Oval, Sauce.
Might have kicked 4 or 5 on me that day too.
Clark. Doughty. Now Welsh into the pocket. Andrew Shaw sees it safely over the line for a throw in. 35 out from the Crows' goal. Classic piece of defensive work. Throw in. Bolton. Here's Welsh, hemmed in. Southern by Maxfield.
Gee, they could do those two up front, couldn't they?
Well, Wayne Carey actually leads their goal kicking. Of course, no longer playing AFL football, but he would be very handy. It just shows you the value he had in that Crows lineup.
I should think Scott Welsh would knock him off by the end of the year. He's 21, Carey 27.
There's a chance for the Crows. Around the corner, Doughty has nailed it. Crows get a goal.
At Subway, we strive for greatness. Behold, fresh, crisp vegetables, meat sliced to perfection,
Creamy, delicious cheeses.
and fresh baked bread. So flawless, so superb, it's almost too beautiful to eat. But who are we kidding? It's delicious.
Speaking of delicious, try Subway's Chipotle Southwest Steak and Cheese Sandwich. It's tender steak, fresh vegetables, savoury melted cheese, and a drizzle of the Chipotle Southwest sauce. It's what to eat when you want to eat fresh.
Subway, eat fresh.
Games have been won from here, even in conditions like this. Margin 26. Michael Doughty kicking the drought breaker for the Crows. McLeod swooping as only he can. Bock well tied up by Shortman. But it's all Adelaide at the moment.
Well, it is. Box at least held it inside their forward 50.
Well, again, the ruckmen weren't ready. Ball landed untouched. Now, Matthews took it. Does that constitute taking the ball in a ruck contest?
Well, I think it does.
This time they're all on guard. Matthews again. So another ball up. And the ball up count, I reckon, would be the leading stat of the night. 41 of them so far. Plenty more to come yet, I'd imagine. John Cock, wonderful work for Stenglein. That's a clever kick. If they kick the next goal, they might just start to develop a hint of belief.
So Stuart Maxfield will do the kicking in. As I said, funny things have happened. We still might have a game on our hands here. Kick to half-back, Kirk. This is disposal number 26. The hunter has become the hunted for Brett Kirk as he finds Goods. Back to Kirk. A little chip over the top. Nicely worked by the Swans. Jude Bolton's got it. Matthews has also run short. There's the kick. Oh, it was intercepted by McLeod. Read it beautifully.
He's done a couple of really good defensive things tonight, McLeod. A few smothers, a couple of intercepts, a couple of tackles.
Throw in on centre wing. Kirk and Rashuto. Finally it spills free. Kennelly tackled by John Cock. Again, the ball's released, whistle. And it's a free kick going Adelaide's way. No advantage paid, though. It's coming back.
Well, he needs to get it in nice and quickly. There's plenty of space.
Doughty marking a well-weighted kick. Bock used a little bit of grunt. He's been pinned.
No 50, no 50. No, you push him out.
He kicked the goal. It won't count.
It's a nice snap too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. He finished it beautifully.
I've seen plenty of forwards get away with that.
I think the right decision was made. The problem we have now is there's so much staging in the game, it's a little hard to tell at times. I don't think Andrew Shawble is the staging type playing down in the back half. Edwards, excellent work to Stengline. Adelaide still coming, still fighting. And they're hard at the ball here. Matnabit to nobody. Nix clearing it. And Sydney can mount their first real attack of this last quarter. Here's O'Loughlin. Pulled by the jumper. No doubt. Sense of resignation from Bassett. Something of a professional free kick. Now Jude Bolton, who hasn't stopped running and working, and one of the Swans' best, placed that beautifully. Here comes Barry. Hall kicked his fourth goal at the 16-minute mark of the second quarter. He's had only one kick since. Rutten's done pretty well. Those 4 goals all came in just a few seconds over 16 minutes.
Chance for the Swans. Clark got the tap. Spills to Matthews. Misses. .57 plays 31. 26-point buffer for the Sydney Swans. Win this, and depending on the results tomorrow, they could be just one game outside that top 4. And that's what you want come September, that double chance. Kick for McGregor, who takes a strong grab. And Bassett's hurt himself off the ball. He's strong overhead, Ken McGregor. Good kick too, into the middle. Finds Rutten, who chips it. Tough one for the forwards. We'll have a throw in, 50 out for the Crows' goal.
And we see young Skip work there. He's just come off the bench. Great to see Neil Craig putting a bit of faith in the younger players for the Crows.
Trying to manoeuvre it into attacking hands again. John Cock is an aggressive forward.
McGregor grab, as you said, Steve, very strong overhead.
Lockett's a wonderful pair of hands. Ball gaining meterage for the Swans. It's a long way to go for Adelaide. You don't often sing the praises of a team that has kicked 4 goals, 7 for the night, but you have to admire their tenacity here. They continue to come at Sydney.
Adelaide!
Free kick to the Crows here. Shepherding infringement. And the Crows will build up again. Watts is easily jostled out of it by Goods, but there's a chance for Matner running onto his wrong side. And mown down. But it has been all the Crows in this last quarter. Scott Welsh just the 1 goal for the night. Matner not able to escape the Bolton clutches. Good knock into the corridor. Swans believing in the old safety in numbers policy, plenty of them around the ball.
The tackling's been terrific, though. I mean, they've been nice and aggressive, not too many head-high tackles. Both coaches be delighted with their commitment.
Oh, Clark, good tap. Skipworth just spent it before he had it. Welsh into the picture. And that's a behind. On goal 2 to Scott Welsh. Been a frustrating night for him. Hasn't had many opportunities. And we've lost the football. I think it's about ready to come back. Play.
Now, was this an Aussie Jones behind?
Well, no wonder the crowd was booing it. Yeah, that was not a point. By the looks of things, I'd like to have another look at that, but it didn't look like a point.
Don't think it'll determine the outcome of this match, but as we have seen earlier this season, they can do.
Have another look at that when we can, because that was very similar to the Aussie Jones one, wasn't it? Kick to the wing. Ball against Clark. Taken by Crouch. Long ball to the 50. From the side was Tawney. He's under the pump in from a couple of Swans. Schneider, O'Loughlin, who got boot to ball. But the Crows out of danger as the kick comes to Rutten. Feeds it to his skipper. Now Shirley, inside 50 go Adelaide. John Cock with great skill. Now that is definitely out of the ball. And there's a couple of the Swan supporters give him a spray. So let's have a look at that. And that is definitely out on the full.
He was well across, so he wasn't caught way out of position. Goods to take the free. Well, this has been a grinding affair this last quarter. 15 and a half minutes of it gone. Confident stuff from Goods, and even the bounce in the slippery conditions. Clark copped it over the shoulder there. Clear free kick. So Adelaide's ball, and they keep pressing. They really do deserve to kick one or two and make something of this. What? Oh, what a sensational leap from the youngster. Welsh taking it away from goal. Tawney now from a long way. Has got the distance. It's just offline. Fergus Watts, what a soaring attempt, and he had a fair share of it. I thought he was a little stiff not to be paid it. Just didn't do enough.
It's a fair leap.
Oh. If that's what he's got to offer through his career, I'm looking forward to seeing some more of him.
I'm just watching Adam Goods at the moment, Tim. I just reckon he's struggling with that knee. He clutched at his knee a couple of minutes ago.
Now, as we bring the ball in play, there's been, we can call it a minor sensation. We've had a malfunction with the time clock in this last quarter. And we're now timing the match, the official timers are timing the match with a stopwatch. We believe there's roughly, as the clock ticks up, about 9 minutes of actual game time left. But malfunction saw us lose the first 6 minutes of the final term, and the timekeepers have got the old-fashioned stopwatch.
Oh, if only it was a thriller to heighten the drama. It might be yet.
That is a sensation, Steve, isn't it? They might have to get the hourglass out.
In the context of this match, it is.
Rashuto.
It's all relative.
We love football. Still worth 4 points. Ball to the wing. Maxfield underneath it. Ball comes out, and we'll have another throw in.
.28 free kicks given for the night. Margin 24 points. Bigland's taking over in the ruck. Doyle, second stringer for Sydney. Again, Sydney with good numbers at the ball. Kirk, indefatigable. Doughty, nowhere to go. And the time ebbs away. Crows would need to score 5 times to win it. It's really not within the realm of possibility based on what we're watching. Jude Bolton again. And the Swans gaining 10 or 12 metres. And the chant is starting. The local faithful, as they do in the good years, getting right behind them. And the Swans at their best this year are showing that they can match it with most. There's Kirk. He's one of the reasons why. Such a versatile player now. Can stop the best of them and can also win a lot of ball and be very creative. And Paul Roos has developed him and cultivated him in a canny way. Riley getting his boot onto it, but not to much effect.
I'm going to start for you, Tim. The average amount of tackles in a game this year has been 87. Already tonight we've had 129.
Wow, that's incredible. I'm not trying to outstat you, but I've got a stat as well. Let's see what the result of this free kick is. Adelaide in 6 of their last 9 quarters before tonight have kicked more than they've kicked in the entire match this evening.
I've been holding on to a stat too, Tim.
Don't hold too tight, Sauce.
Since half-time, there's only been 1 mark taken inside the forward 50.
This has developed into a stat fest. There's another mark, but it's in the defensive half of the ground for Sydney. Kennelly. And this is Jared McVeigh.
I've got a question for you, Tim. Brett Kirk, is he in All-Australian form at the moment?
Well, it was a great debating point last year, wasn't it? He was left out, and the feeling was that he was more stopper than creative midfielder. You were saying to me, he probably had averaged 18 disposals a match, but is that enough for a midfielder to be chosen All Australian?
Yeah, no doubt. I just thought he was very unlucky not to get chosen last year because, if I recall correctly, he was only ever beating on 1 or 2 occasions and played on the top on ballers.
Well, the Swans will muck this up, and it's Adelaide. Work it to half forward. Kirk, before tonight, was averaging 20 disposals a game this year. He's got 28 this evening. As Adelaide working it deep inside 50, and Nathan Bock will have a shot at goal. Directly in front, 35 metres out.
There's Barry Hall starting it. Perfect disposal straight to his opponent. Barry's hanging his head at the other end of the ground as Bock lines them up.
So Nathan Bock, smack bang in front. And he drives it home.
Ready to get your hands on a big record-breaking interest-free deal with a huge 48 months interest-free on widescreen plasma and LCD TVs. Jump into Radio Rentals for a massive 48 months interest-free on lounges. Land a brand new bed with 48 months interest-free. Or get a new computer with 48 months interest-free. Get a record-breaking 48 months interest-free at SA's biggest electrical retailer. Now that's big!
Nathan Bock keeps it alive. Barely, but it is alive. 22 minutes 20 gone. Adelaide trailed by 3 goals. I was one of the 40,000 or so at Princes Park back in 1981 when Neil Danaher kicked 3 goals to win a match in less time than is left here. Here's Williams, connects. This could kill it off. And the behind might do that because they need to score 4 times to win it.
The old handy point. It was great play, wasn't it? Little 1-2 to Williams. Back to Nicks. From the kick in, McLeod to the wing, and the mark's taken by O'Keefe. Kirk's got 28 disposals for the Swans, Jude Bolton 21, Crouch and Kennelly 17 apiece. For the Crows, 18 each to Doughty, Stengline, Edwards and McLeod. Kennelly concedes some territory and finds Matthews.
You're shifting in your seat a bit, Sauce. You're building up to another stat.
No, I've run out.
So the Swans seem content here to run down the clock. And the mark's taken by Lachlan. He just drills it long to a contested situation. Oh, Biglands! Almost. Kirk fed out the handball to Williams. And his kick, his left foot banana.
Now that's called out. I reckon that might have just about squeaked in.
Well, the fans are booing again.
At the post. 5 metres, Gary. 5 metres, Gary.
McLeod for John Cock. There won't be a lot of time on in this final quarter, you wouldn't think. Just 2 goals kicked. And Adelaide 19 points down. And that was giving Rashudo very little chance. I think they just blazed now, wouldn't they, Sauce, in the old-fashioned way, just thump it along.
Yes, in the good old days, but certainly the usage of the ball these days, you must try and hold possession.
Even when you're 19 points down with a couple of minutes left.
Well, I guess you've got to go long then.
Kirk. Another stat, but not a particularly effective one. He has been outstanding in midfield. Ball and Biglands. And Rashuto crashing in. Half Roo, half Bull. McLeod. Swans keeping it close to the boundary at all times. I think they'll be happy to see the end of this.
You'd think if you held your opposition goalless in the last quarter, you'd be a fair chance to win, wouldn't you?
You would. And Sydney have only once or twice really looked like scoring. Riley into the 50, not much on the end of it. Barry getting a fist on there. Here's Matner for Welsh. Pretty good effort, a very good effort. They're still coming.
The Truscott Hi-Fi Winter Sale is on now, and it's raining savings with up to 40% off. Sharp widescreen TVs with DVD VCR combos, $490 off. Panasonic 600-watt Dolby Digital substat packs, $500 off. JVC 300 times digital zoom camcorders, $400 off. And Panasonic 94cm plasmas, $1,000 off. Truscott Hi-Fi, Adelaide's lowest prices with up to 24 months interest-free terms.
Tonight, Scott Welsh. That was a cracker on his left foot. There's 13 points of difference. Is there time for the Adelaide Crows? All of a sudden, things getting a little bit more desperate in the middle as the umpire comes in and is forced to bounce again. It's been a strange night at the SCG.
Neil Craig would have to be very pleased with this effort in the last quarter.
Biglands the tap. Rashudo didn't have it. Umpire said play on. Stengleins in there. So is Shirley. Another bounce. 3 goals kicked in the last quarter, all to Adelaide. There can't be much time left. Rashuto. And yet another stalemate.
Just watch the ruckman on the last throw up or ball up. There are arms everywhere.
Biglan's again forces it forward, but Maxfield's there for Sydney.
He's gone for touch.
He has, and he did it beautifully.
Points. If they kick another one in the next minute, this could get a little exciting. Ball the hand onto it. Biglan's though finished up with the footy. And the Crows are pressing again. There's an urgency about Sydney's defence right now. Tawney up in the front half. Just momentarily got it over the shoulder. Peeped hopefully looking for a man in a yellow shirt. And I think he's talking to Matthew Nichols to that effect right now. 50th ball up of the night. And it's ball down right now.
As I said, we did have trouble with the time clock in this last quarter. So the side surely has to go with only 3 goals kicked, and it has. And the Swans are home. By 13 points.
Paul Roo's first win as coach of Sydney against Adelaide.
As the Swans continue their climb up the ladder. They're now 9 wins, 6 losses for the year. Say now that any chance that Adelaide had of perhaps sneaking into the finals are gone. So they can experiment to their heart's content for the rest of the year.
Yep. No question about it. Crows and Collingwood on 5 wins. And it may well be, depending on the result of the other match tonight, that there's quite a gap now between 8th position and the rest of the field.
And it's why this game is just so important for Sydney to win tonight. It gives them a bit of breathing space. Having said that, it wasn't a pretty game, but it was a hard-fought contest. Plenty of tackling.
Let's go down to Neil Courtney with the star of the night, Brett Kirk, with 30 disposals.
Brett, 30 touches. Did you think the conditions suited you tonight?
I don't mind getting after the footy. It's a bit slippery tonight, so yeah, it's probably suited my style of footy.
Not a showpiece of a game, but I guess that doesn't matter.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a hard slog tonight, and we knew Adelaide was up and running, so we just had to win it in tight, which I think we did.
You copped a pretty hard knock, what looked to be a hard knock early in the match going for that contest. Did you feel that?
Yeah, it was a pretty good knock, but yeah, it didn't get me too bad, so I was able to go on.
Now, you're not winning with any great style or margin at the moment. Is there a sense, 6 wins from the last 7 matches, that you can build on something from here for the Swans?
Yeah, we knew after the break we could really set ourselves up with the 3 games, and we've won the 3, so I think we're 9 and 6 now, so I can really set ourselves up for the next 6 or 7 games. Thanks, Brett. Cheers, Phil.
Brett Kirk, will he be All-Australian in 2004? Some very powerful men have to make some very big decisions as we near the end of the season. Neil Craig, well, 13 points. He'd be reasonably happy with their fight back in the last quarter, but in the end it was the Swans home by 13 points over the Crows.
Double the drama.
Double the impact.
Double the evictees.
Sunday's just been supersized.
In one mass eviction, 2 housemates will lose their chance at $1 million.
Question is,
who will you choose? A massive double eviction night from 7 o'clock Sunday.
then Monday with a 1 in 5 chance at 1 mega prize.
Nomination night just won't be the same. 2 huge nights of Big Brother start Sunday.
The Truscott Hi-Fi winter sale is on now, and it's raining savings, with up to 40% off clearance lines like TVs, DVDs, Hi-Fis and more. Truscott Hi-Fi. City store open Sunday, 11 to 5.
Got what it takes. The Ed Goodrich Test. Approved.
Got what it takes? PF Goodrich Tyres. Take control.
Beautiful day for a picnic.
It's perfect. We got everything. Yep.
Good, because we're here.
Warm up this winter with KFC's Picnic Hamper. The family will discover 10 pieces of delicious original recipe chicken, 4 lots of chips, sides, drinks, and picnics inside.
Nice spot, this.
There's a new model Camry around the corner, so Toyota is now offering outstanding run-out reductions on current models. For just $29,988 drive away, the Camry Altis V6 Auto comes with air, cruise control, power windows, and the silky smooth power of an all-alloy quad-cam V6. Or there's the best-in-class Camry Altis 2.4 Auto, just $27,488 drive away. See your Toyota dealer before they all run out.
Footy fans, there's really nothing better than seeing the game live. Don't miss your chance to get down to Amy Stadium and see the Camry Crows, the team for all South Australians. Home game daily tickets are now on sale at Bass, and they cost $20.90 for adults, $14.40 concession. Kids under 15 get in for $2.75, or 2 adults and 2 kids can see the game for $39. Show your support on July the 4th for the clash with the Demons. See you there.
Doesn't look too good, Nathan. Let's take your boot off. What are you doing?
Only Coca-Cola goes the distance to get you exclusive AFL prizes, like captain's jerseys and footies signed by last year's 3 Brownlow medalists. To enter, just drink code and SMS the last 4 digits of your barcode to 1887624. The Coca-Cola Big Game Hunter promotion.
The Truscott Hi-Fi winter sale is on now, and it's raining savings. Thompson 76cm widescreen European TVs, $400 off at only $12.99. So the Swans, look, let's be honest, it's a game that never reached great heights, but it's always good to get the win.
Oh, no doubt. They would have wanted to go out there and get the 4 points tonight, just to give them a bit of breathing space in the 8th. But I think the game really was set up by Barry Hall early, and his 4 goals were outstanding.
Yep, 3 goals in the second quarter, one at quarter time on the siren. So it was really probably a 15-minute burst from Barry Hall, wasn't it, that proved the difference in the game in the end?
It was. It was in that second quarter where he really did come to the fore and made the most of his opportunity. His duel with young Ruffin was a really interesting one. Great to see Neil Craig stick with the youngster, played on him all night, and had patches where Hall did get on top, but he fought back tremendously hard, and he gained valuable experience out of that contest.
So how did you obviously rated Rutten's game quite highly?
Well, I thought it was outstanding, really. He's on one of the premier forwards in the competition. Barry Hall's been in terrific form. It was only a period of probably 15 minutes there where he got away from young Ruffin, so I think Neil Craig will be delighted with the way he went.
Michael O'Loughlin kicked a couple of goals, but I think the most outstanding part of his game tonight was he continued to present himself all night.
He did, and he's all class, but one thing that came out tonight that I watched very closely was his work ethic off the ball. His chasing and his ability to hold the ball inside their forward 50 was outstanding, and we know he can kick goals, we know he takes the brilliant marks, but it was his work without the ball tonight that really did come to the fore.
And Ty Kennelly, how did you see his game?
Yeah, I thought he played a serviceable game. He had plenty of run off the back line there, and he just carries the ball so well. He provides the run off that half back line, and he does
does deliver the ball so well. A bloke that's just played limited amount of AFL football, his skills are exceptional, and really the Swans have found an exceptional player here who's probably got 10 years of football left in him.
Let's have a look at the match stats, Sauce. I know we talked about the tackles. There was an amazing amount of tackles, though. What do you see in the stats?
Well, really, they were quite even. I just felt that the inside 50s were the ones that got the Swans the points at the end. They peppered the inside 50s, particularly after half-time, evened out after half-time, which we saw Adelaide score some goals in that last quarter, but it was their delivery into the forward line that gave me their opportunities to kick goals.
No surprise about the player rankings. Brett Kirk had an outstanding night with 30 touches. He really has taken the next step, hasn't he?
He is. He had a great night tonight, having a wonderful year and really backing up his year from last year. Kennelly, as we mentioned, played very well off the half-back line. Dowdy was a very good competitor for Adelaide. Lachlan we've already mentioned. I thought Tyson Edwards' first half was very good and really did keep the Swans in the contest.
Andrew McLeod in the top 10.
Yeah,
hard.
Well, a little bit spasmodic, I thought McLeod was. He did have a very good last quarter, and I think he had about 20-odd disposals. Went to the half-back line for a little bit in that last quarter.
It's the shot from the Adelaide rooms as we go down to the Sydney rooms, and I believe we have the coach, Paul Roos.
Paul, not the prettiest game in the world, but I guess that doesn't matter.
No, it makes no difference at the end of the year. When they look back, they don't take points off you for winning ugly. So, yeah, look, we're wrapped. I mean, to be in the position we're in, 9-6, and you know, to still be trying to work blokes back into some form and some fitness against a team that kicked 22 goals last week is a good effort.
Wet and slippery conditions. You lost one to Richmond, you lost one to Collingwood, and it was wet over in the west against West Coast. Were you conscious about a wet weather game plan today?
Yeah, definitely. I think when we saw it rain before the game, and having also been over to Adelaide last week and seen the way they want to play their football, you know, we really went into the game, you know, really wanted to shut them down, you know, and with the wet weather, getting it in, you know, just a bit longer and a bit more direct. And, you know, it is good to have a win in those conditions. And as I said, against a team that the last 2 weeks kicked 22 and 20 goals.
You get a sense now that you're building some momentum?
Yeah, certainly. You know, 3 games. We've got Geelong next week. I mean, that's a huge game. Cardinia Park's going to be tough. So, yeah, look, we're getting a bit of momentum.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Well, winning ugly, said it didn't bother him at all.
Oh, I don't think it would have bothered the players either, so he's taken the 4 points, he'd be happy with that.
We'll take a break from the SCG. The Swans home tonight against the Crows by 13 points.
What are the chances of a tree falling onto your car at One Tree Hill?
Oh, no.
Yup. Last weekend. And because the tree went through the roof, so did my insurance premiums. So I rang around to compare prices. But these insurance companies, Trev, they're all the same.
Did someone call the RAA?
Not me.
It's amore! For a limited time at Subway restaurants, you get a cheesy Italian meatball sub for $2.95. Add salad and magnifico! It's a sub meatball. And at just $2.95, you get much, much more, eh? From Subway, eat fresh.
To win Fox FM's Perfect Man competition, you need it all. Personality, sense of humour, good head of hair. Fortunately, Julian saw Advanced Hair Studio, or the perfect man may have been not so perfect. Call 1-800-800-500 now.
Big Pond broadband prices have dived. Starting from $29.95 a month on a 24-month plan. Plus, for a limited time, $0 installation for existing Big Pond dial-up members. Call 1-800-008-874.
Light.
Shazza, I love the look of your new Corolla.
So do I. It's pretty zippy too.
You know, I've always had a soft spot for Corollas. Kev first told me he loved me in one.
Did he?
Annalise, I love you.
Kev, that's so sweet.
Introducing Australia's most loved small car, the new look Corolla.
Goods takes the line. Oh, Buckley's fallen awkwardly.
Doesn't look too good, Nathan. Let's take your boot off. What are you doing? Only Coca-Cola goes the distance to get you exclusive AFL prizes, like captain's jerseys and footies signed by last year's 3 Brownlow medalists. To enter, just drink code and SMS the last 4 digits of your barcode to 1887624. The Coca-Cola Big Game Hunter promotion.
Need value? Buy now and save during the Stratco Garage Sale Catalogue. Wavelock fence sheets, only $11.95 each. Portable 500-watt floodlight, a low $19.95. 12 months interest-free terms on all Stratco Outback verandas. Wild Thing 34cc chainsaw, just $325. And 10% off the entire range of Stratco Gable garages. Need value? See Stratco. What you need today?
It's amore! For a limited time at Subway restaurants, you get a cheesy Italian meatball sub for $2.95. Add salad and magnifico! It's a sub meatball. And at just $2.95, you get much more, eh? From Subway, eat fresh.
Warming down in the Sydney rooms, 13-point winners tonight, the Swans over the Adelaide Crows. Final score 8-10-58 to 6-9-45. Let's quickly talk about Adelaide before we wrap it up, Steve. I guess the nucleus of their side was out there tonight, apart from Mark Stevens injured, Hart injured and Burton injured. What do Adelaide, they've got 7 games to go, but what do they need for next year? Is the obvious question at half forward, centre half forward?
That's where they broke down tonight. I think Burton and Stevens would help that area, but I think they've just got to go with the kids. They've got 7 games. You've got to go with a guy like Rutten and Bock, play your Skipworths and these type of players. They've got 7 games. They've got nothing to lose, so you've got to give them as much game time as possible and try and groom them as players.
And just quickly before we go, the Swans, do you think they're top 4 material this year?
I think they need some more improving. I mean, if you have a look at their wins over the last month, they haven't been great wins. I'd really like them to put teams away. So I guess we'll see that in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
All right, well, that wraps it up from the SCG this evening. It was the Sydney Swans home by 13 points against the Adelaide Crows. We'll see you again next week. Take care. Good night.
The 2004 Toyota AFL Premiership season, proudly brought to you by our broadcast partners. Toyota, Carlton Draft, the beer behind footy. Harvey Norman, there's a store near you. Big Pond, amazing broadband. And BWS, beer, wine and spirits.
This is the heart of Berska. This is the crowd that loves it loud, the roar in the heart of Berska. Feel the sound that rocks the crowd that loves it loud, the roar in the heart of Berska. These are the flames that shake the ground, that make the sound that rocks the crowd that loves it loud, the roar in the heart of Berska. This is the juice, the VHUs that fuel the flames that shake the ground, that make the sound that rocks the crowd that loves it loud. That roar in the heart of Berska.
Good evening and welcome to the 5th quarter. Another huge day of Saturday football this afternoon at the MCG. It was the Bombers, but Andy, it came at a cost. James Hird playing game number 200, taken from the field in what looked like a fairly serious injury.
Look, we'll talk a bit more about it a little bit later, Chris, but it was just almost predictable, wasn't it? I mean, such has been his career. The nature of the injuries that he's sustained have been remarkable. They're never just a simple little injury. He finds remarkable ways to hurt himself. it looked like it had cast a big black cloud over the Bombers, but their leadership after half-time, particularly from blokes like Jason Johnson and Matthew Lloyd, Adam McPhee, was something to behold. I reckon we might be talking a bit about Jason Ackermanis from one Brownlow medalist to another.
Yes,
And
some explosive comments later in the program on Shane Crawford and also about Collingwood, the physique of the Collingwood players. So look forward to that. The Swans over the Crows tonight, and of course we'll talk about West Coast surviving a last quarter comeback.
Yeah, finally good to see the Hawks showing a bit of spirit.
Absolutely.
That was exactly what Peter Schwab would have been looking for from them down at York Park today. They never probably got close enough to look like winning chances, but they certainly flew the flag.
But the story of the day, without any doubt, was the injury to James Hird. And it was at the MCG where the Bombers went on after the Tigers led by 4 points at half-time. A remarkable second half. The Bombers ended up winning by 13 goals. Lloyd kicked 9, Murphy 3 for the Bombers, and Matthew Richardson a star with 6. But James Hird, Andy, that was the incident. A knee from the back. It looked for a moment as though it was right in the kidneys. So
well, that was the fear, wasn't it? I guess the real fear was that he was going to have done some damage to his kidneys. That we know has taken a few players in its time in footy. He looked terrible as he was coming off the ground. Wonder what he was thinking. I mean, he's just had such a brilliant but blighted career, this bloke. Fortunately, the news is pretty good. We're going to be speaking to Robert Shaw a bit later. I'm sure he'll have an update on Hird's injury, but the kidneys have been pretty much all clear except for a bit of bruising. So that's the best news that James Hird and his family could have hoped for.
Well, James Hird's injury wasn't the only one this afternoon at the MCG. Richmond, Captain Wayne Campbell copped a heavy knock from Kepler Bradley and some real shoulder problems, the left shoulder for Wayne Campbell, and there he is on the interchange bench. And the other injury, this one to Rory Hilton, and really out of play.
And so innocuous. I mean, he's obviously had problems with his knees in the past. He was shattered on the bench. Not the upset turned to frustration as he threw his boots over. The physio, Noel Duncan, had to go and retrieve those from the building site, but clearly frustrated, angry, out of contract in 2005, Rory Hilton. It's going to be tough to see how the Tigers play that particular injury. He was playing pretty good footy in the first half too, which was the frustrating thing. Wayne Campbell looks like it's not as bad as we might have first thought. He might only be a couple of weeks on the sideline. So good news for the Richmond skipper, bad news for Rory Hilton.
Well, it was a big win by the Bombers this afternoon. Let's have a listen to what Kevin Sheedy had to say after the match.
It was one of our best wins we've had for quite some time, to be honest. And under the circumstances, you'd have to probably seriously want to keep that team and get a ball signed on it. Yeah, I think that some of the young kids really put their hand up. I mean, our season's been on the line a bit lately, let's be honest about it all. Just one of those situations where, you know, I mean, you can talk and have meetings all the time, and you just got to get out and do things.
Well, Andy, pretty happy, I think, because it was a very, very good second half.
Oh, some of the signs after half-time were outstanding for the Bombers. Their next three are pretty big. They've got the West Coast Eagles over at Subi, then they've got St Kilda and Port Adelaide. So with a couple of their big guns on the sidelines, it'll be interesting to see how the Bombers cope with those.
Well, time to cross to Crown Casino, where James Hird was meant to be celebrating his 200th game, and say good evening to Damien Booth. Damien.
Yes, thanks very much, boys. Well, it's a pleasure to be here with Essendon assistant coach Robert Shaw, who is celebrating James Hird's 200th game here at Crown Casino tonight. But, Robert, something slightly unusual, the guest of honour's not here.
Well, the limo's here, and no, unfortunately, he's in hospital and will be in hospital probably tonight and into tomorrow with some damage to his rib area that the doctors are pretty concerned about, so we'll just have to wait and see. But it's an unusual function.
Sorry, mate, Andy Marr here. What was the mood like at half-time? When you've come in and the players have come in and they've realised what's happened to Hirdy, can you sum up what the mood was like?
Pretty down because we weren't playing well. It wasn't much of a game, Andy. It was very windy. Both sides weren't playing anywhere near their best footy. It was pretty ordinary and really wasn't an issue. Hird wasn't playing, Lucas was off. And with the blokes we've already got out, it was really a matter of trying to put the pieces together, the jigsaw. And what happened after half-time was, well, you couldn't read about it.
Robert, it was fantastic. You must be wrapped with some of your senior players that really stood up, like Jason Johnson.
Yeah, it was a good mixture. Kepler Bradley and Ted Richards were fantastic, playing only in their early part of their career. Johnson, Mercedes and Allen in the middle were awesome, and of course Lloyd's 9 goals. So Funny game, footy. Look, we've been criticised for not finishing on games, and when we go kick 17 in the second half to 4. If you can work it out, let me know.
Shorey, any idea how long Hurdy will be out for?
They're not sure. I've got no idea. I haven't played with a broken rib. If his ribs are broken, what's that, 4 to 6?
Yeah.
But I've got no idea, Andy. I'm sorry.
It's amazing the way he finds ways of getting hurt. You mentioned Ted Richards. That was as good a game as I've seen him play today. Has he now cast himself primarily as a defender?
Well, he has played, and the good thing about him in the reserves, we have played him a lot as defender. Our preference is that he plays up forward, but because we wanted to, well, we just went through it after half-time. We put McPhee to centre-half forward, so we needed someone to play in the back line. Ted Richards was fantastic on Schultz, who kicked 6 last week and only got a couple of possessions this week.
Rob, you mentioned Adam McPhee. Has he surprised you with the way he's performed? I mean, he is just playing in a sensational way at the moment.
Well, he is. He started off as a half-back flanker and one of the best in the comp. We've moved him into the midfield with great results at times this year, and of course today he's basically gone to the true centre-half forward position and was a real avenue to attack for us.
Well, Robert, the challenges keep on coming. There's a number of sides around sort of the bottom half of the 8 sort of vying for positions at the moment. You take on another one in West Coast next Friday night.
Yeah, well, it's a very interesting game. They got over for a win, which kept them in contention for the top 8. We had a good win against Fremantle over there last year, so going over there is not too bad. We're going with a few blokes missing, so it'll be interesting to see how we go. But you know, I think the biggest challenge tonight is finishing off Peter Jackson's drink card. We've been here for 3 hours and we're giving it a fair old nut.
Well, Robert, I better let you get back to it. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Boys, back to you in the studio.
Thanks very much, David. The Peter Jackson Amex card, fantastic.
He's a beautiful host, Peter Jackson.
Well, Essendon's big win. There was plenty of other great highlights on a Super Saturday of football. And we start at the MCG. A great mark by Kelvin Moore. Great mark taken by Kelvin Moore. One-hander.
Barry the Difference Hall. A brilliant right foot snap. McGregor fists it away. Fister. Clever tap to Hall. From the pocket. Barry Hall has kicked his second.
How good's this bloke? Matthew Pavlich.
Bell, top of step to half forward. Ricochets off to Pavlich. No problems. Gathers the footy from 50 and kicks a goal. I'll take your Matthew and I'll raise your Matthew. Classic Lloyd.
Lloyd again. What a beauty. Our Saturday special regular, Chris Judd.
Playing in front this time, trying to kick the ball was Hay, taken by Judd. Judd from 15 metres out, quick snap, what a goal. He's got 3.
Sean McManus turns back the clock in the Subiaco thriller.
Crashes the pack. Hayes will be having a rest up forward. Gives it to McManus from 45 metres out. The veteran McManus goes for home and kicks a beauty.
Some brilliance from Adam McPhee at the MCG.
Side attacking 50, tough pushed out of it by McPhee. Play on's the call. He snaps around the body and goals.
How good is this courage from Brett Kirk? Blazing high and wide, not terribly heavy.
And we thought we'd throw in a regulation Matthew Richardson goal.
But again, the blasting kick. Oh, Richo! Oh, he plays on! That was very Matthew Richardson. He might get a goal out of it. He does, and who can kick a right-foot banana from the top of the square like that but Richo?
Des Headland, the get, the give, the get, and the goal.
Kick partly smothered, but the Dockers there in numbers. McManus to Headland. Handball to a flat-footed Longmuir. Headland got it back. 30 metres out. Bang!
Great stuff at Subiaco Oval. Now, before we go to a break, I want you to take a look at this. Down at York Park, an incident involving an Eagles trainer, and it resulted in Nathan Thompson. Now, you'll see the trainer walk between the man on the mark and Nathan Thompson, and 50 metres awarded to Nathan Thompson.
Doesn't he know who coaches the West Coast Eagles?
Remember this face, because I am going to be the next Australian Idol.
I'm going to be
the next Australian Idol. Australian Idol, Channel 10. Seriously.
Australian Idol premieres 7:30 Tuesday on 10.
Need some practice? Free picture messaging to anyone on any network till the end of September this year. Join Vodafone today.
Have you got flight vibes? When you're asked the question, make it count.
Vibes gets the party started. Pump it up with a Vibes DJ mixer. Plug in the speakers, hook up the microphone, and you're set to party. Vibes gives you 2 top-loading CD players, scratch pad with built-in sound effects, echo and pitch controls, bass boost, and crossfader. It also works as a sing-along karaoke with your TV. Mix it like the pros with Vibes. There's Vibes party lights and karaoke towers. Get the party started with Vibes. In stores now.
Sunrise Over Sea, the soulful #1 album from the John Butler Trio. Featuring the song of the year, Zebra. Sunrise Over Sea, in stores now.
That was refreshing? Yeah. I think it's a lime.
Bundaberg Rum Dry and Lime. Surprisingly refreshing taste.
At Casual Living Furniture, save up to 50% during our manufacturer's once-a-year stock take sale. Fantastic furniture savings, all at up to 50% off, or until sold out. Now extended till July 18. Think living, think Casual Living. Keswick, Marion and Enfield.
Leatherworld's stock take sale is now on. Monaro 6-seater leather modular, $2,790. Many more specials available at the stock take sale. Leatherworld, open 7 days.
Rove gets it all.
Amazing talent.
And 9:30 Tuesday, he's got the